Disconnected. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the stream, guys and gals. Appreciate you tuning in this morning. We are going to have another wonderful live stream today. I was asking if you wanted me to clear the weather out so we could see some of the ORBX scenery, but looks like by popular vote, we're going to keep real-world weather in, and we're going to do some low visibility ops right now. Visibility is about 1 mile. The ceilings are about 200 feet overcast. So we're going to get on with it here. We're just looking at the outside of the wonderful Toliss 319. Today we're going to be operating as Spirit Wings 742, a low-cost carrier here in the United States. We got a fantastic HD livery, full PBR. Can be found on the Xplane forums. I really love the details in this livery, guys. I mean, look at the dirt and grime on here. You can see the dirt coming off the windows. So this is going to be a great stream. Real quick, I wanted to mention I missed a super chat from the other stream this weekend. I apologize, Captain Geo. I do want to acknowledge you. I'm sorry I missed your super chat, man. I'm still getting used to the difference between the super chat notifications and donation notifications and subscriber notifications. So I apologize for that, guys. But hopefully I will do a much better job of that as we move forward. Thank you again for your donation. Hotspo this morning donated a wonderful $10. Get the stream started, supporting the stream. I really appreciate it, guys. Like I said, all that donation and support is going right back into this channel and this community. We've got our Discord server up now. Feel free to join that, link in the description. All right, let's get this thing started. I'm going to try to minimize reading too many comments initially as we're on the ground here, just so we can get things going. And then I'm going to read some more comments as the workload gets down. So let's first get the aircraft ready to go. Let's connect to Pilot Edge. Today is going to be NKS 742. We are connected. All right, we are going from Seattle to Portland. We got 2 stops for you today. It's going to be a great one. We've got a short flight to Portland. It's going to be about 110 miles, so it's going to be real, or 150 miles. It's going to be a real short flight, but it's going to be a high workload, low visibility. I think you guys will enjoy it. And then we're going to go from Portland back down to San Francisco, and that'll be a little bit longer, so we have more time to talk and answer questions in the stream. Greetings from Vancouver, Dimitri. Greetings, glad to have you here. I'm glad everybody's learning. TBE 254. Hello V1. Love the streams. Taught me a lot about flying with a 19 and 20. Awesome, dude. That's the goal. All right. Let's quickly let's get things going here. We're going to initialize the box here. We're going Seattle to Portland. We are in the ORBX scenery from the Pacific Northwest that was just released recently. Not going to see much of it, I don't think. Hopefully we'll see the mountains there as we take off and then descend into Portland. We're going to fly this one at a cost index of 15. We don't want to be moving too far. This is a short flight, 17,000 foot cruise altitude. And let's go ahead and align. I had the aircraft aligning already before I started the stream, so we don't have to wait around for that. Let's go ahead and get the dome light on here. Yep. And turn up some of these floodlights just a little bit brighter. Turn up some of this so you guys can see it. James Lane, glad to be back. V1, what state are you in? I am in Texas. I am in Texas, United States, man. Right smack dab in the middle. Good morning, Slam Cannon. Spin Cycle, morning V1. Hope you're having a good one. I'm having a great one. Thanks for asking. Regards from Poland, from Isak. Good afternoon, evening. Glad to have you here, buddy. All right, let's go ahead and pick up our clearance before we load the box. Seattle clearance is going to be on 128.0. Let me just check something real quick. I'm making sure that I'm not sure Pilot Edge is on just yet. Seattle clearance, good morning, Spirit Wing 742. Yeah, the Pilot Edge network is not online just yet. It will be online for our second leg, so that's okay. We're going to go ahead and get things going here. We'll have them for the second leg. Oh, disregard. Yeah, I wasn't sure if you guys were open yet this morning, but Spirit Wing 742 looking to pick up our IFR from Seattle to Portland. All right, we are cleared to Portland, Seattle 7 departure. Radar vectors, Buzo, crater, then as filed, climb maintain 9,000, 7,000, 10 minutes after departure. Departure frequency is 120.4, squawking 4504, Spirit Wing 742. All right, let's go ahead and load this up here. Departure, we're going to plan off of 16 left. He said Seattle 7. We're a little bit out of date. So in real life, obviously that would be a problem, but this is just a vector departure. Shouldn't be too much of a problem. Obviously, the real aircraft, we would make sure our database is current. Unfortunately, I don't subscribe to any of the chart companies to get up-to-date charts, just because I have my own that I use. If there's any discrepancies from the current database to the one in the sim, I'll just input a little manual adjustment in the flight plan. All right, going into Portland. I'm not even sure what runway they're landing over there, but we're going to go ahead and just assume it's going to be 28 right for now. Greetings from San Francisco. Typical chilly, foggy day here. Not sure if it will clear up by the time you get here. We're going to find out, Carl Bear. We will find out. Crater 2 RNAV arrival. And let's see, there's Buzo transition. Insert that. Let's go ahead and take a look at our flight plan. So manual leg, that's just a radar vector. And we're actually going to leave that discontinuity in there because you don't want to just immediately turn off towards Buzo. It's going to be a radar vector. So make sure that we have that discon in there. And then we have the rest of our route. That takes us in. That looks just fine. All right, we've got our flight plan done. Can't do the secondary, unfortunately. All right, init page B. Let's bring up the Toliss ISCS screen. We are going to take a full load, guys. We're going to go right about there with the cargo. And 7,000 kilos should be enough fuel for now. Apply that. Apply the fuel. And we will have that for takeoff. Right now our zero fuel weight CG is going to be 28.5. You can see that right here. And I know I've mentioned in the past that these values are backwards from what I'm used to, and somebody brought a video or posted a video on the channel for me and showed an image of this actual layout here of the zero fuel weight CG in this. So it's just an older software that I've never seen before. Vincent Crump coming in with a $40 donation. I appreciate it, sir. I enjoy your streams, and thanks for sharing your knowledge on the Toliss and Flight Factor A320. I fly both and in VR and really enjoy. Vincent Crump, thank you so much for your support, man. Really appreciate that. I'm glad that you're enjoying the content that we're creating here, and I plan to continue to create the content with your guys' support. This is going to be an awesome community. I encourage you to join the Discord if you haven't already. We can really stay connected and build this into a community that's not just for Xplane necessarily. We've got some real-world pilots on there as well. So thanks again, Vincent Crump. Huge thank you to you. 7.0 on the fuel, block fuel. Here's our fuel times, our alternate. So we're actually going to have to put in an alternate today, guys. Our alternate is going to be our departure airport, which doesn't always happen. But in this situation, when the airports are so close to each other like that, sometimes you'll see that. So we come back to our fuel prediction page here, and we can see we've got 5% reserve, our final time. That's what I'm looking at. We're looking at 30 minutes. I'm actually going to want to increase that to 45 minutes final time. So that will adjust our extra gas, our final gas, and reserve. So that looks good for now. All right, we've got that. Let's come back to here. We're going to go ahead and put Seattle 16 left in there, and then our perf data is going to be right here. And load 149. Whoops. Guys, if you're wondering what mod I'm using for the textures, this is the Totemec. I hope I'm saying that right. I've got it linked in the description. If you have the Toliss, I highly recommend downloading this free texture mod. It really makes the cockpit amazing. Really amazing. Pop out. This is a real image of a 319 McDo. Flaps 1. All right, our perf data has been set. Let's go ahead and close that up. Can you guys hear Pilot Edge? We can't hear the ATC. Interesting. Okay, let me go ahead and, oh, I know why, guys. I apologize. I've got it reloaded. I'm going to call him back, and let me know if you hear it. Hey, Seattle Clarence, Spearwing 742, radio check.
Spearwing 742, Seattle Clarence, we're back on.
Thank you, sir. All right, we've done a radio check. Let me know if you guys can hear that now. You should be able to hear that. I had something muted on the OBS stream, so let me know if you can hear that radio check. All right, let's go ahead and get the APU fired up. Flap open. Let's go ahead and start the APU. Let's take a listen here. Awesome. Okay, I'm glad you guys are hearing the radio. Sorry, that was my fault. I had a stream OBS mute. All right, APU is coming online. Should be getting a veil light here. There it is. Let's go ahead and get the bleed on. We can disconnect from external power. We've already got our fuel on board. Pumps are coming on. I've already went through my initial flow, guys. I had the aircraft sitting ready, so we've already done our fire checks. Seatbelts can go ahead and come on. Auto on the signs. Arm the emergency exit lights. Overhead panel looks good. Ground control push button on to record our pre-flight cockpit activities. Looking at our SID. Guys, I am also looking into AviTab so you guys can see the charts that I'm looking at. Hopefully by the next stream I will have that running. Unfortunately I don't have it for this stream right now, but in the next one hopefully we'll be able to have the AviTab up there and you guys will be able to see the same charts and we can actually look at charts together. I think that would be very beneficial. Alright, so the Seattle 7 departure is just a radar vector departure. Our initial altitude is 9,000 feet. And let's go ahead and turn up these screens. If you just bought the Toliss and you wonder why every time you get into your cockpit the screens are dimmed down, back in the day the CRT or cathode ray tube screens were subject to what's called burn-in or burn-through. So after each flight, and you were leaving the aircraft, we would turn the brightness all the way down to prevent that. All the screens now, in our fleet anyway, that I fly, are retrofitted. They're not the CRT. We have a few CRT boxes left, which can be very hard to see, but most of them have been retrofitted now. Alright, we are looking pretty good here. Let's go ahead and close up the doors. We'll run some checklists. I am running the IAE engine soundpack add-on. Like I've mentioned before, it's not quite BSS, but it's still pretty good. We're closing up the doors there. Let's see. Imtiaz Mohammed, hello all. Finally got to make it to the live stream, Captain. No trim sitting on the McDo. So, for the single aisle Airbus family, the 319, 320, and 321, the THS setting on the McDo does nothing. It is a mere reminder. I'm unsure if the wide bodies, I've heard that the wide bodies, the 330 and such, that might actually set your trim upon engine start, but for us, it does nothing. Our procedure, we leave it blank. I know some guys put in a value there just as a reminder, but we don't. We leave it blank for our procedure. All right, let's go ahead and plan a pushback. We are sitting way back in the alley here. We're going to have to push right here. Looks good.
Round to cockpit, plan acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you are ready.
Alright, we are sitting at gate Delta 9er. And before we do that, one last thing here, we want to make sure we have the Addons. I gotta bind a camera view for you guys here. Hold on, I want to bind the radios. So we've got right wing aft, left wing forward, left wing far aft. So, you know, I'm gonna go ahead and move this one. Let's move that one. So we're going to bind a radio view here so I don't have to keep panning the camera down. You guys have a better view of the comms. I'm going to go ahead and set that view. Perfect. Let's pick up our Addons 18.0.
Advise on course heading, altitude, and if flight following is requested. Read back all runway assignments and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact. You have information echo. Seattle Tacoma International Airport. ATIS information echo. 1509 Zulu. Wind 230 at 5. Visibility 6. Mist. Few clouds at 300. Ceiling 500 broken. 1500 overcast. Temperature 15. Dew point 13. Altimeter 3000. Arriving and departing runways 16 center, 16 left, 16 right. ILS runway 16 center, runway 16 left, and runway 16 right approach in use. Simultaneous approaches to parallel runways in use. Simultaneous approaches in use between Seattle and Boeing Field. Traffic below you on final. VFR departures, contact clearance delivery. Advise on course heading, altitude, and if flight following is requested. Read back all runway assignments and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact. You have information echo.
All right, we have Addons information echo.
Seattle.
We don't need to listen to that anymore. So it's going to be low vis, guys. I know y'all wanted to see some ORBX, but majority rules. We're going to do real world weather coming out of here. Ground control is 21.7. I'm making sure we don't have a ramp. I want to say we do have a ramp control back here at Delta 9. Let me take a look at it. It says contact ramp control for pushback clearance. So we are on the north ramp. Gonna be 2687. All right, we'll get Pushback here, and then we'll get into some of these comments. All right, let's do it before start checklist. Windows, doors, and slides, they are closed and armed. Beacon is on. Thrust levers idle. Parking brake is set for now. Before start checklist complete. Let's go ahead and call a Pushback truck.
Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
Ramp control, Spirit Wing 742, push off Delta 9. Maybe I have to be in the cockpit.
Spirit Wing 742, there is no ramp control, and it's the only time you would ever call for push is if you're pushing into a movement area.
Okay, I was just double checking because my charts throw a north ramp control here for Delta 9, but we'll go ahead and push pilot's discretion for Spirit Wing 742.
Yeah, it's just that it's not simulated on the pilot engine network.
Oh, I gotcha. Awesome. Thank you, sir. All right. Trying to give me a little lit, man. I know what I'm looking at. It says push required, contact ramp control. That's all right.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed, ready to connect.
He's going to go ahead and connect. Let's watch the Pushback commence here. Captain Kringles. Mr. Dillon, did you do a barrel roll? Mr. Dillon, what'd you do? Oh, doing a DFR 400 flight display. Awesome. But that was fun. What's good, Jermaine Smith? Good to have you here, buddy. Don't forget to set the queue on that shit. Yeah, it's already set, Mr. Dillon. So in the in this Toliss, I think it actually auto. I have it connected.
And bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
All right. Brakes released. Was it? Oh, there we go. Brakes released. Clear to push.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
What was I saying? I forgot what I was saying. Oh yeah, the ISFD. I have it set on the settings, so I think when I adjust the main QNH, it will automatically set all three, just so I don't have to set all three. Sean Stevens, pilot edge does only ground, pushback and start. I gotcha. I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, I was unaware of that. I just thought, it's like, why are you telling me that there's no ramp control? I'm still used to, I'm not used to pilot edge yet, so I'm still learning a little bit. But they sound so real and they sound so good that I actually get caught up and I'm like, what? This is not real? So, but it is a great add-on, guys, if you're looking at a good ATC plugin to get the Pilot Edge network. It is a subscription-based network. You can get a month. They have a free trial period, but if you can do month-to-month subscription, then you can also do a yearly subscription as well. But very good quality radios. I don't know if you guys noticed on the last stream, I was starting to get out of radio contact, and I did a radio check, and he came back, and we could hear him over the radio. It was pretty staticky. He gave me a new frequency, and I could hear him much clearer. So it is awesome simulated ATC network system. Captain Kringles, love that dirty livery. I do too, man. Some people don't like the yellow, but I kind of like it. It's still different, you know. We get so many plain whites and blues and all that stuff. This is kind of a fun livery. Real dark and dirty. Awesome texture work. All right, we're gonna go ahead and fire up engine number 1. There is our bleed pressure. Starting 1.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
All right, brakes are set. Clear disconnect. Show me the pin.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by. James Lang says, looks pretty great and grim up there, V1. Yeah, it is.
I asked you guys if you wanted me to clear it out, but everyone wants to go real weather, which I'm totally fine with. Let's do it. I'll turn these up a little bit. You guys let me know if the sounds are not to your liking. Alright, we got a good to start on engine 1. Let's go ahead and fire up 2 since the aircraft is cold.
And bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal will be on the left. We'll see you next time. Have a safe flight.
Alright, thanks for the smooth push. We'll see you next time. Since the aircraft has been sitting cold, we got to do a 5-minute warm-up on each of the engines. Mr. Dillon says, can't wait for the V1 Europe tour. Me too, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm thinking we're going to do it in a custom user-submitted livery. I've had a few guys already ask me about making a V1 Simulations livery. So if you guys are good with paint or with Photoshop and want to make a livery, we're going to probably have a livery contest going on here, and we're going to take that custom livery all the way to Europe. Yeah, we're not just going to start in Europe. We're going to ferry an Airbus all the way from the United States to Europe, and we're going to fly all through Europe, guys. It's going to be a great time. A little bit further down the road, though, so bear with me on that. All right, we got a good start on engine number 2. That comes to normal. We'll arm the speed brakes. We're going to go flaps 1. Alright, we have flaps 1 extended. That is good. Engine 1 started. We can turn the bleeds off like that. Let me just make sure that... Oop, this should have been in transponder mode before we backed off there, but that's okay. Alright, F-start checklist. Engine anti-ice is off. Fuel electric pump is off. Rudder trim 0. After start checklist completed. Gonna contact ground control on 121.7. Somebody brought up a good point too about doing a ATC tutorial. I think I might actually do that. Maybe a short video just on the basics of ATC. So if you guys want to get into Pilot Edge and maybe you're not sure how to talk on the radios, because I know it can be intimidating at first. I think it might be a good idea. Let me know if you guys want to see that. I think it would be a fun, just a short video, you know, just basic phraseology and courtesies on the radio. Okay, so I've got ground in number 1. Standby, I've got tower frequency for 16 left. We're anticipating 16 left. Ground control, good morning, Spearwing 742. We're ready to taxi with information echo. We pushed off of a Delta 9er.
Spearwing 742, settle ground, runway 16 left, taxi via Bravo, Charlie.
16 left, taxi via Bravo, Charlie, Spearwing 742. Alright, we got our taxi clearance, Bravo, Charlie. Let's go ahead and release the brakes. Taxi light can come on. Oh, I've had that happen a couple times there. You release the brake and then kind of jolts forward. Alright, so I gotta look where I'm going here. We're coming off of the north ramp. We're gonna join Bravo. It's gonna be a right-hand turn all the way down to Charlie. Yeah, Dimitri says stream doing a visual approach into runway 36 at Calvi Lima Fox Kilos Charlie would be super fun. Yeah, guys, I've got in the Discord, I asked for some recommended airports y'all want to see for the Euro tour. So go ahead and throw your suggestions in there, and I'm gonna go over it and we'll figure something out. I want to do it right, though. I don't just want to do a fly to Europe and go to a couple airports. We're going to do a legit Euro tour. We're going to fly the airplane all the way over there and all the way back. I think it'll be a lot of fun, so just going to take a little while to get the production going of it. AV1, you ever fly to San Antonio? Oh, yeah, man. I've been down there quite a bit. Nice little airport you got down there. Mr. Dylan, after the stream, maybe. I do have a obligation I will be attending. I'm not sure if I'll be able to speak with you, but if you have something to ask me, go ahead and let me know in Discord. I'll try to get to you as soon as I can. Captain Geo, welcome to the stream, man. I don't know if you were here earlier, but I did apologize. I missed your super chat donation on the last stream. I really apologize for that, man, that you wanted to know some techniques for landing the 319. We're going to talk about that today. It's really, honestly, it's very similar to the 320. The 319 does tend to settle into ground effect a little bit better than the 320, I find, especially if you don't have sharklets. In real life, that is. In the sim, they're very comparable to land, although my landings lately have been pretty terrible. So I apologize for that. We're gonna get that. But I do apologize, Gio, for missing your super chats yesterday. I appreciate your support for the channel. Landing ruts are real, guys. They happen in real life too. You end up not being able to land for a couple weeks, and you don't know why. It happens. It's a part of flying. All right, let's go ahead and do a flight control check here. Full up, full down, neutral, full left, full right, neutral. Let's go ahead and do the rudder disconnect. There we go. Full left, full right, neutral. All right, guys, I think I've sorted out my nose wheel steering in this thing here. So we've got that is checked. Let's go ahead and go auto brakes max, takeoff config, radar PWS is on, TARA, whoops, coming off the center line there. Flight attendants prepare for takeoff, and we are ready to go for takeoff checklist. Alright, gross weight comparison is complete. Pitch trim is, what do we got for pitch trim here? 30% CG set. V1, VR, V2 flex. Oh, hold the phone, everybody. There's my wife. $10 super chat. Wow. Thanks, babe. Best sim instructor out there, although I may be biased. Still think you're amazing. That's awesome. Thanks for that, love. That's my wife, guys. She's, I guess she's stalking me on the stream, wondering what I am doing instead of doing household errands. Nah, she's been great, though. Alright, perf data. We got 149, 149, 152, flexing to... Oh, we have a toga set? I never entered a flex number. Hold up. We're going to have to change that. Good thing we'll hold short here at Charlie. That's why we do a checklist. We'll hold short 1-6 left at Charlie. Brakes are set. We need to take a look at that. First, we need to look at the trim here. What do we do? Aircraft. We said 1 plus F. 29 up 0.2. So that's pretty much set right there. And then what we needed to do was change our perf data. Was a flex of, what did we say? Oh, now it's different. We got different numbers now. Let's go ahead and set 151. And 153. We're going to flex to 67. Alright, now we should be good to go. We've got 151, 155, 153, flex, 67 set. Initial altitude is 9,000. Standard transition. First fix is going to be a radar vector to Buzzo. Before takeoff checklist is complete, we're going to switch over to tower. Vincent Crump says, "Hi V1, enjoy your streams. I fly the A320-319 VR. Thanks for sharing your knowledge." Awesome, Vincent Crump. I appreciate it. Thank you, sir. I got your donation as well. You are awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you for the support to this channel. You guys are the backbone of this channel and the growth that we are going to have. All right, let's go ahead and get out of here, guys. Seattle Tower, good morning. Spearwing 742, holding short 16 left, ready for departure.
Spearwing 742, Seattle Tower, run 16 left, clear for takeoff.
16 left, clear for takeoff, Spearwing 742. All right, guys, let's get out of here. Let's see if we can do an external lineup again. Oh. Pretty close, pretty close. All right, let's spool them up 50%. Oh, before I do that, hold on. Let's go ahead and set our EFD so you guys can see it. I can't get these to shrink. I can't resize these, unfortunately. I don't know why that is, but we'll keep that there. Here we go. Spool them up 50%. Forward on the stick. Spooled. Manflex SRS runway. Auto thrust is blue. $80 knots for rust set. Neutral by 100. V1, rotate. Positive rate, gear up. Disarm the spoilers. Alright guys, I'm going to turn autopilot 1 on just because it's going to be a real short flight. And I want to be able to do multiple things here. Alright, we have... That is looking good. Nothing to see outside. You guys wanted it. What do we got for outside temperatures? Plus 15 C, no need for anti-ice. Our departure frequency is going to be 120.4. Here we go, positive trend in airspeed, thrust climb, auto thrust. We are coming through the tops of the clouds. Still plus 14 C, no need for anti-ice. Let's take a look outside. Looking good. We should probably get the terrain on ND up. Should have had that up for departure. This is a mountainous terrain. There's our retraction. Let's go ahead and see an auto retract here. We're going to see an auto retraction of the flaps, but not the slats. Right about there. There it is. Flaps come up, slats stay out. Let's go ahead and get them all up, clean the aircraft up. Looking good. All right, departure is going to be 120.4. He hasn't switched me yet. We're going to hold on for that. There's our terrain off the left-hand side. There are mountains out here, guys. There are mountains out here. We are climbing 5 for 9. We can go ahead and get rid of the turn-off lights and the nose light since they are already in the well. Once the landing gear has been retracted, the turn-off light and the nose light will automatically extinguish. Typical gear up flow, lights come off, this, start the chronometer, and disarm the speed brakes. wish I could find a way to minimize these screens here for you guys. I apologize. I'll just fly with it a little bit more zoomed in, make it a little easier to read. 7.2 for 9,000. And I'm thinking he forgot about us. And Tower for Spearwing 742, you want us over departure?
3742, kind of got your thanks.
See you. Speed Alt Star, 8 for 9. Seattle departure, good morning, Spearwing 742, 8,000, leveling 9.
Spearwing 742, Seattle departure, ready to contact, climb and maintain 15,000, clear direct to Buzo.
I maintain 15,000, direct to Buzo, Spiritwing 742. Alright, there we go. Direct to Buzo. Insert that. We are navin, thrust climb, open climb. Coming out of 9.4, out of 10,000.
American 760 Phoenix clearance on request. It's going to be a full route clearance.
There we go, here comes 10,000, close enough. We'll get those lights off, wing lights off. And we'll go ahead and ding the flight attendants to let them know that we're above 10. They'll start their service. Actually, on this flight is so short that they probably won't even get a chance to do their service. They would just remain seated, maybe do hand service with water. Crater 2 RNAV, I'm looking at the approach now.
American 760, clear to the Los Angeles Airport. Keens, 2 departure. Messy transition. Eastwood. Hollywood, 1 arrival.
Alright, so we are doing the Buzzo 2.
Departure frequency 119.2. Squawk
Alright, here we go.
7477.
We'll catch up some of these comments here. Jam0935 says maybe when you do that, maybe when you do that Euro tour, you can
American 760, reback direct.
Yeah, I'd love to do that, man. Captain Geo, shout out to Laura of that super chat. Alright, that's right. James Lang, gonna have to leave the stream viewing. Alright, man, have a good one, buddy. Thanks for joining. Life sport is good. Yes, it is. Calbara. Tommy Monroe says, oh yeah, best new streamer on YouTube right now. Appreciate it, Tommy. That means a lot. Thank you, buddy. Captain Geo, there's nothing better when the wife gives you her full support in everything you do. That's a blessing. Absolutely, Captain Geo, it sure is. I am one lucky man. That is absolutely correct.
Spearwing 742, climb and maintain 17,000, contact Seattle Center 126.6.
17,000, 26.6, Spiritwing 742. Alright, 26.6, we're climbing to 17,000. Whoops, almost. Seattle Center, good morning, Spearwing 742, 15.5, climbing 17,000.
Spearwing 742, Seattle Center, roger, altimeter 3001.
3001, Spearwing 742. Oh, awesome, so that does work. Whoever said to put the mouse wheel over the screen, that is awesome. I did not even know that. Now if I could just move you about here, let's go ahead and get these views back. A little bit there so you guys make it easier. We are Speed Alt Star, leveling 17,000. Right there. That should be good for pop-outs. Alright, leveling 17,000. Storehead says, who knows, V1, maybe I've seen you fly over the 410 highway into 4. Yeah, you might have, man. You absolutely might have. My wife says, I figured you guys get this all the time, might as well sneak by once in a while. Alright, go back to work, love. Mr. Jones says, so yeah, no RAS, you will need it in Europe as 3 out of 4 of the 320 family have it. It's interesting, I didn't know that you guys Actually had it over there as a requirement. Yeah, we don't have it over here in the States. I might activate it for that. HD simulation almost missed the takeoff. Well, I'm glad you didn't, buddy. Jermaine Smith, yeah, I got the scroll wheel down now. That's awesome. Appreciate it. I've got that working. Storehead says, I'm learning the Zibo 737, but maybe for Black Friday I'll pick up the 319 and 320. Yeah, man, you definitely should. This is a great airplane. It really is. Either one of them, you can't go wrong. Thank you, Jermaine Smith. Yeah, I've got the got that figured out now. That'll be awesome. Get those pop-ups working a little bit better. What flight level? Captain Kringle's asked, at what flight level do you turn off your wing/beacon lights? So the wing lights will come off at 10,000 feet, and the beacon will stay on the duration of flight. Anytime we got power to the aircraft, we're going to keep that beacon on. You can kind of see the mountain over there. Kilo Tango says howdy from Mauritius? I apologize, man. I'm unfamiliar with that location, but says I've been following your professional series recently, and it's some real gold in learning about aviation and flight simming with the Airbus. Awesome, Kilo Tango. I am glad that you are following along and you are enjoying that. That's what I put it up here for, man. I'm really glad you're enjoying it. All right, guys, we got a short flight here, so I apologize. I'm not going to be too active in the comments. We're actually already entering destination data, so we got to go ahead and do that. This kind of wants us to descend.
Spearwing 742, descend via the Crater 2 arrival, landing east, altimeter 3001.
Descend via Crater 2, 3001, landing east, Spearwing 742. Alright, I just got to set in altitude here so we get down. He gave that to us kind of late. Landing eastbound, that's going to take us out to Batil, which is 210,7,000. So I can go ahead and set 7,000 feet. We've got to set up this box here, guys. Alright, here we go. Flight plan, rad nav. Here we go. KPDX. We're going to land on runway. Oh, they're landing eastbound this morning. We're going to request 10 left. So I'm going to put that in the box. And we need to get the Addons. We're going to go ahead and do that on COM 2. I can't imagine it's very different from Seattle.
Altimeter 3001. Arriving and departing runways 10 left, 10 right. ILS runway 10 left and runway 10 right approach in use. Simultaneous approaches to parallel runways in use. VFR departures, contact, clearance, delivery, advise on course heading, altitude, and if flight following is requested. Read back all runway assignments and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact. You have information Tango.
Information Tango.
Portland International Airport. ATIS information Tango. 1453 Zulu. Windcom. Visibility 10. Ceiling 2,300 broken. 3,600 broken. Temperature 17. Dew point 11. Altimeter 3001.
All right, we don't need to listen to that anymore. All right, we've got our environmentals set up. Aircraft is coming down on profile. We need to cross Helens at or above 11,000 feet. That looks good. Let's get our LS push buttons on. We're going to do...
Good morning, Gulf Strike 55, level 320.
ILS 10 left, so let's make sure we have that in the box here.
Oakland Center, roger.
I had landing westbound, so we're going to change that. ILS 10 left.
American 760, Phoenix ground, Squawk 1 Charlie.
let's take a look at it here in the plan view. Alright, crater coming down, a liquid, sunshine. Takes us all the way out to shine, so I got to change our transition. The bottom altitude is going to be 6,000 now, since we are landing eastbound. We have that set. That's going to lead us into the ILS for runway 10 left. I've got chart 11-1, effective 6 November 11. IVDG 111.3 is auto-tune. Actually, that's still showing Seattle, but the 111.3, the real airplane, that would probably have switched over by now.
760, runway 8, taxi via Charlie, Bravo 1.
Final approach course will be 103, Blazers at 2,000. The MDA is 293. We have that set in the glass. Touchdown zone is 30 feet. Sector altitude around Battleground VOR. The highest outwing to the east at 6,200 feet.
American 760, runway 8, taxi via Charlie, Bravo 1. I only caught a snippet of your readback.
Missed approach here. We're going to go ahead and fly straight out 800, followed by climbing a left turn 4,200 feet. Intercept the 160 radial off Battleground.
American 760, Charlie,
right turns
Bravo
over
1.
Battleground. That's in the box. That matches the plate. Landing on runway 10 left. We've got 9,800 feet available for landing. Go ahead and select low brakes. Flaps full. Idle reverse. And a right-hand turn off. Probably Alpha 3. Maybe Alpha 2. Alright, so approach brief is complete. We are speed all constrained star. Let's take a look at the star. We don't actually have a speed restriction. It's trying to slow us down to 250. That's good because we're going to go below 10 here relatively soon. Oops. That's good. Slowing to 250. We're going to go ahead and manually select 250. And we're going to go perf, activate, and confirm as we descend below 10,000 feet. There it is. We're coming down through 10. Let's go ahead and get our lights on. We're going to leave that nose light off. Wait for our clearance to land. Aircraft has picked up the VNAV path. We're going to pass Hiker below 9,000 feet. Flight attendants, prepare for landing.
Spearwing 742, connect Portland up to 124.35.
124.35, Spearwing 742. 124.35. We've got ADIS information. Tango. Portland approach, good morning. Spearwing 742.90 descending via the crater 2 with Tango.
Spearwing 742, Portland approach, roger. Expect vectors, ILS, runway 10 left approach.
Expect vectors, ILS 10 left, Spearwing 742. Alright, perfect. Just like we briefed, 10 left approach. Trying to catch up some of these comments here, guys, while I have a minute. Mr. Jones says, ever flew 319 with Sharklets?
55, right to contact
Yes, I have.
left.
I find the Sharklet, even on the 320, any aircraft, any family, the 319, 2021, with the Sharklets, it makes it float a little bit more in ground effect, I think, which would kind of make sense because you're extending that wingtip about a foot or so. I forget what the actual dimensions are, but it does extend that wingtip a little bit. Less than induced drag, of course, but I found that those Sharklet airplanes, they tend to float a little bit more, a little bit easier to get soft landings on. The 319, it can drop on you, especially if you're light. If you're doing a light landing, that's where I was going to ask or talk about Captain Gio. He's talking about landing techniques for the 319. In real life, when we have a lightly loaded 319, it's, for some reason, I don't know if it's just the way that it must be the way the aerodynamics are with that short fuselage. It's very difficult to get a nice, smooth landing when you're light. It seems the heavier you are,
760 Phoenix Tower, runway 8 cleared for takeoff.
it is a little bit easier to kind of feather that touchdown. But the 319 does have a tendency to drop on you. I've rearranged my stick. I'm hoping I can get out of this landing rut, guys. I've been having some terrible landings lately. I apologize. I do have a new chair coming finally. I've got a chair coming this week, so I'll be able to have a proper chair. I'm sitting on basically a wooden stool right now, so not very comfortable. But I'm tired of making excuses for you guys. I got to get out of this landing rut. We're going to try to have a nice one down here in Portland. Kilo Tango says Mauritius is a tiny island just
I'm
east
showing
of
you on the wrong
Madagascar.
position, say intentions.
We're descending via the crater 2, expecting 10 left, Spirit Wing 742.
Spirit Wing 742, it's affirmative. You're on the runway 28 transition right now.
Roger that. That's an error on our part, then maybe here in the box. Can we get radar vectors for 10 left?
Spirit Wing 742 fighting 260. It's vectors for the final approach course. It's also going to be a possible pilot deviation for the arrival.
Roger that. We'll be ready to copy that phone number. Fly heading 260, maintain 6,000, Spirit Wing 742. Alright, so that actually... So what he's talking about, guys, is this arrival has two different transitions for landing east and landing west. Now, the real Airbus, when you update that arrival runway, it will switch the remainder of the arrival. So that did not happen, and I wonder why. I don't know if that was an error on my part, but I'm pretty sure once you put 10 left in there, it should auto-update the transition. So, in real life, that would be a big no-no, obviously, and that would be a pilot deviation that actually makes me feel uncomfortable. Even though this is just a sim, that lets you know how immersive this pilot edge is, because that is a big no-no, what just happened there. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and extend the line off trail. So that doesn't do it either. So there's some things in this box that are a little bit out of date. So we actually have to put our final approach course and trail is going to be 103. We're going to flip that around. So big no-no there.
Spirit Wing 742 to set and maintain 4,000, contact approach 126.9er.
Set and maintain 4,000, 26.9, Spirit Wing 742.
American 760, contact departure.
Phoenix departure, American 760, 6,000 for 8,000, one VS6.
Why is this not allowing
American
me to shoot a
760, Phoenix
line?
departure, ready to contact, climb and maintain level 210.
I'm at 210, American 760.
There we go. Full heading. We're shot the line. We are descending to 4,000 feet. Alright, we got to catch up here. We are deviating. We got all kinds of pilot deviations going on here. We're plus 15C. Now you can really see why this is a two-pilot aircraft. You can really see that. That's kind of cool that he even said it'd be a pilot deviation. Makes me feel very uncomfortable. Let's go ahead and bring the speed back to 180 knots as we are approaching an extended base leg here. It's pretty low viz out here, guys. I don't know. I think the ceiling was, what, 2,000?
Spirit Wing 742 to set and maintain 3,000.
Set and maintain 3,000, Spirit Wing 742. Alright, open descent. Let's get down. 4 for 3. Pop these out. Let's see, IVDG 111.3. The ILS did update. So it did update finally, but yeah, it's kind of a mix. It's kind of an error on both of us. Here comes VFE minus 10, flaps 1. I should have verified that the transitions changed when I switched the runway, guys. That is a pilot error on my part. But like I said, in the real Airbus, when you change the runway, it will also change the arrival route for you. So I do not know why It didn't do it.
American 760, contact
On
Albuquerque
the
Center
Toliss.
134.32, good day.
It may have been because we might have already been on that transition.
American 760.
I'll have to rewatch the stream and see what exactly happened, but good thing this is Flight Simulator, because if it wasn't, I would not be happy. Definitely don't want a pilot deviation on your record.
Spearwing 742, turn left heading 190.
Left turn 190, Spearwing 742. Alright, VFE next, -10. Let's go to flaps 2. I know that transition is really rough for you guys. I don't know. Have to fix that.
American
Here comes
760,
flaps
Albuquerque
2.
Center, climbing tape 53380. American 760, you might want to double check your microphone settings. You're very distant to your microphone, hard to hear. I can hear your engine noises just as loud as your voice. Sorry, I couldn't hear you there. No, you still sound like you're a long ways away from your microphone.
111.3, let's just verify this. I'm all
Fairway
rattled
742,
here.
turn left heading 310.
Left turn 310. Correction, you want a left turn 310?
No, it should be a left turn heading 120, please.
Left turn 120, Spirit Wings 742. Let's go ahead and double check this here, guys. We are IVDG 111.3.
And Spearwing 742, you're 10 miles from Blazer. Maintain 3,000 until established and localized. Clear the ILS, runway 10 left approach.
3 to establish, cleared, ILS 10 left approach, Spirit Wings 742. Alright, we're cleared approach. Approach push button on, AP2. We got Cat 3 dual, autopilot 1+2, glide slope blue, loc blue. I've put our taxi light into the taxi position, simulating we're cleared for approach. We're double checking, triple checking. IVDG is 111.3. That's for the 10 left localizer. We are on 10 left. Everything is looking good now. Our DA is still set of 293. Auto brakes are set to low. Glide slope is alive. A localizer is alive. Oh, maybe not. I thought I saw it move. Not yet. No movement yet. Disregard. Disregard. Alright. Load that up here. I apologize for that stutter when I switch views. Hopefully it smooths out as soon as you reach the transition. Let's take a look outside. Probably going to get in trouble again. Man, I love this view though, huh? What a pretty airplane. That almost looks like a rain shaft over there, but... Alright, we have a Lokestar localizer is alive. Glide slope is alive for real now. Lokestar, that means the localizer has been captured. I can see the approach lights already. Glide slope star, let's go ahead and set go around altitude of 4,200 feet.
Retard.
Alright, here we go. Glide slope is captured. A localizer is captured. Touchdown zone is 30 feet, so at 2,000 feet, we're going to go ahead and push for managed. This is our optimized energy approach management profile, guys. I've talked about it over and over. If you're having trouble being stable, get yourself at 180 knots, flaps 2, at 2,000 feet above touchdown. You will make your window every time. Light crosswind from the right at 2 knots. Let's see if I can shrink these just a tad. Oh, beautiful Xplane weather there. I am using default weather for now.
2,000.
Here comes 2,000 feet. Push for managed speed. Gear down. Arm the spoilers. VFE next to -10. Flaps 3. Little stutter there. Let's go ahead and declutter. BFE next -10, the flaps full.
Spearwing 742, contact tower 118.7.
Tower 18.7, Spearwing 742. Man, it takes a long time to scroll these knobs. I wish they'd move a little bit faster. Tower, good morning, Spearwing 742, ILS 16, I'm sorry, 10 left.
Spearwing 742, Portland tower, runway 10 left, clear to land, wind calm.
Clear to land, 10 left, Spearwing 742. Alright, cabin crew advised, auto thrust speed, ECAM memo, a landing all green, a landing check is complete, clear to land, runway 10 left. Let's go ahead and disconnect the autopilot. Stable landing, getting a little high there, I was looking down.
400. 300.
We are visual landing. I'm going to follow the Pappies down now. You can see the Pappy and the glide slope are non-coincident.
100. 50, 40, 30, retard, 10, 5.
There we go. Smooth landing, we'll take it. Spoilers, reverse green, we are decel. Manual brakes, we'll go to the next one. 70 knots. Welcome to Portland, ladies and gentlemen.
Spearwing 742, right turn at Alpha 2, taxi to the ramp Alpha Victor Kilo, monitor ground point 9er.
Alright, Alpha 2, Alpha Victor Kilo, monitor ground point 9 of the ramp, Spearwing 742. We're sorry about that deviation earlier. That was a box issue.
Yep, it happens.
Alright, it's much nicer to say that over flight sim than having to actually call. So if we actually had a pilot deviation in real life, guys, we'd actually have to call the air traffic control tower via cell phone now. We'd go over the situation that went down, and it would probably be a safety report that would have to be filed, and it would be a no-go. So you definitely want to make sure you're not doing that. That's definitely a good example of what not to do. Let's go ahead and do an after landing check here. Send monitor ground point 9er, we can do that. Alright. Welcome to Portland, guys. We're going to taxi onto the ramp over here at Alpha. This is a Mr. X airport, by the way. It is freeware. He does some really awesome sceneries. There is whiskey. We're going to keep going to the terminal. A little warm on the brakes, not bad. So the use of brake fans, as you can see over here, it's calling for, if I can look at it for you, when your brake temperatures reach 300 degrees C, you're going to get this hot message there on your brake fan push button. And all that is it's letting you know that your brakes are over 300 C and they need to be cooled, right? Because our limitation is 300 degrees Celsius for takeoff. But we do not want to turn the brake fan on right after landing, because these carbon disc brakes actually will fatigue out and wear faster if you cool them too rapidly. So you need to wait for the brakes to reach their peak temperature before activating the brake fans. If you just exit the runway and turn the brake fans on, you're actually increasing the wear on those brakes. So we wait till we reach the gate, which will be typically the hottest point for the brakes as soon as you reach the gate, and then we'll turn the brake fans on. Alright, we're going to turn left here at Alpha 5. We can continue with our after landing checklist. That's all off. Let's get the APU ready to roll. Flap open. Gotta hate that. X camera. That's what it sounds like. Sounds like X camera is coming up next. Alright, as we taxi onto the ramp, let's go ahead and kill that taxi light. We're going to our gate, which is Delta 2, which is going to be inside of the fork here, so we're going to cut the corner. Don't want to hit any of the trucks. Clear left. Radar and PWS can come off as well. Make sure we don't fry the ground crew. Thought we had a gate guy here. It appears we do not. Gonna do a little bit of cheating mode. We'll just go ahead and stop it on the 737-300 line. That's gonna be awful close to that engine. Alright, brakes are set, APU is available. Go ahead and kill engine 1. Seatbelt's coming off. Engine 1. Get the bleed on. And now is when we would go ahead and activate the hot brakes. Alright, let me catch up some of your comments here, guys. One thing I have noticed is in the replays, we're going to attempt this here. We're doing a second leg. We're going to go from Portland to San Francisco, guys. So we're going to do a second leg as well. But I've found out in the replay, if I don't switch my views from internal to external, I seem to be okay. So we're going to go ahead and watch it from the external view. And I'm going to catch up with your comments here. All right. Julian R says, in what scenario would you fly an RNAV approach? Why aren't they more popular? Is this a false perception? What is the downside to an ILS? You know, you fly an RNAV when the ILS is out of service. You're not going to have anything that has better accuracy than the ILS, other than maybe a WAS approach. But ILS is the most accurate and reliable that we can get at a normal basis. If you don't have that approach, then we would go ahead and fly an RNAV. There is nothing wrong with flying an RNAV. Let's get a tower view here. There's nothing wrong with flying an RNAV approach, but most of the time if there's an ILS, we're going to tune in the ILS. Descents are always so hectic, especially when the controller clears you from dust and powder. Yes, absolutely they are, man. Especially when they clear you late. It can really screw with you. Jungly Sim, watching from the gym. Awesome. When am I planning to fly to Europe, Captain Kringles? It's going to depend here. I've got a lot of things on my plate right now. It's going to be coming soon, though, guys. It's going to be coming soon. I will definitely announce it in the Discord and stuff before we get the final preparations for the Europe tour.
America 760, contact Los Angeles Center 124.62.
Slam Cannon says, glad I'm not the only one who takes the 319 on such a short hop. I love Seattle to Portland scenery. Me too, man. Where are we? What? What is this? Wrong runway. Come on, Xplane. There we go. Here it comes. Let's take a look at it. Right over the threshold, 50-footer.
Spring 742, Portland.
Go ahead for 742.
And just a heads up, your replays, you're still connected to the network operating in a movement area. Make sure if you want to watch your awesome replays, you do that. Disconnected.
I apologize. Thanks, sir. Whoops. Let's watch another one here, guys. Make sure we are disconnected from Powered Edge. We are disconnected. Alright. Did I update the ILS course? Yes, I did. Storehead says, for Europe, I think the Florence would be a good airport to fly in with Alitalia or Air France 319, but definitely pick up the Flight Tampa Corfu. I do love Flight Tampa scenery. I will do that. For us non-pro pilots, Pilot Edge is such a great training tool. I learn much more every day. Yes, it really is, Slam Cannon. Dimitri says X-Camera will fix the view transitions and other things, so I will definitely be looking at X-Camera after today's stream. Thank you for the landing, kiss landing. It was good. First time I landed Airbus, I did pretty well. Thank you, Jordy. Yeah. Good morning, Wojtek CYVR. Thank you. Good morning. Phantom A320, I find my landings got so much better when I took the auto thrust off. I feel like they have better control. They're nowhere and are more engaged in flying. I used to fly every approach autopilot or auto thrust unless I was shooting an approach. Yeah, you know, I do like taking the auto thrust off. Maybe when we go into San Francisco here at the end of this stream, we'll do a full manual approach. We'll turn everything off. We'll just hand fly it. What is the highest speed to operate on a tiller on an A3XX in real life? Well, the steering decreases as your speed increases on the ground, right? I think you can go up to 60 or 80 knots, maybe even be 60 or 80 knots, but you only have a few degrees of movement, and then it's rudder pedals after that. But you have restrictions on gross weight for your landing. So if you're above a certain, I'm sorry, not for landing, for taxi, if your gross weight is above a certain weight, you have different speeds at which you are able to turn the aircraft. Not too bad there. Not too bad there, guys. Not too bad. Reverse is out. Alright. That controller hates me, Storehead. Yeah, he sure does, man. He sure does hate me. But that's alright. We are not going to worry about him. We're going to do a second flight here, guys. I'm going to take a quick break. I'm going to throw up the turnaround screen. We're going to turn this aircraft around, and we're going to fly into San Francisco. So give me about 10 minutes or so. use the lav, get some water, refile our flight plan, and we will be on our way to San Francisco. Hang tight. Thank you guys for sticking around. Alright guys, we are back in line here for our next flight. We are reconnected to Pilot Edge. We have been sitting at the gate here. And we are going to go ahead and get the aircraft ready to turn around. I should have shut that off, that beacon light stayed on. But everything is ready to go. We get the chat box back up here. Story, yeah, the controller hates me. Yeah, he sure does. We're going to find out here how bad it is on the way out. Do you have to rely on the ADIRs? Vincent Crump asked when doing a turnaround. No, you do. You can check your stored alignment, or I'm sorry, you can check your alignment status. If I go ahead and get into the data page here, aircraft status, position monitor. And we would make sure that our IRS drift hasn't exceeded any limitations, and then we'd just go ahead and turn it right back around. What we can do, and I'm actually curious to see if Toliss has this simulated or not. Let's see if we can do a quick align. So we come back up to the overhead here. We're just going to recycle each one. Got to do it within 30 seconds. Do a quick realign. And normally it would say realign within 1 minute here, but doesn't look like they had that simulated just yet. Alright, we got our flight plan. Let's go ahead and take a look at our flight plan here. We're going to Eason, and then after Eason, we're going to join Airway Quebec 1. Quebec 1 to NV intersection, Echo November, Victor Echo. So, you know, guys, I was talking in the other stream about the McDo box, about it doesn't push down the buttons, and it does make it a little bit harder to input information. Because there is a delay in the real aircraft when you press the button and it pops up on the screen. So they've got that simulated correctly. However, when I can't see if I press the button or not, it does make it difficult to see, did I actually press it, did I misclick it? That's one downside to not having a movable key for the McDo box here. NV Melbeck and the Bodega 3 into SFO. We're going to make sure we don't screw this up. We're going to plan the ILS-28 right on the Bodega 3 from the Melbeck transition. Insert that. And let's take a look at that flight plan. That looks good. Hopefully we can get some directs along the way, shorten it out. That plan looks good. Can't do the secondary RadNav, nothing to hard tune. Init page 2, we do need to get fuel and passengers. Let's go ahead and pull up the Toliss screen here. We're going to take a little bit of less. Let's center this distribution here. Let's take 129 peeps. We'll lighten it up a little bit. We were a little heavy. Alright, apply these values. Oops. We're going to take 9.0 on the fuel. So that gives us a 28.2 for 56.1. Block fuel 9.0. Let's take a look at our fuel here.
Denver clearance, November 285. Request IFR clearance to Aspen.
Looks good. Jump over to our perf data. Flaps 1
Air
configuration.
285 Denver clearance, clear the Aspen Airport, Rockies 4 departure, red table transition, direct.
Our speeds for this is going to be 149, 149, 151. We're going to do flaps 1 takeoff, flexing 69. Alright, that looks like it is set. We can get rid of this here. Phantom A320 says, not sure if you've announced who you fly for on the stream, but I think we work well worked. I left the same company. We should do a shared cockpit stream for the full crew experience. Interesting. Yeah, I'm not going to share who I work with just because I think that's a little bit too personal. It is the internet, and you never really know who's out there. So I'm not going to announce who I officially work for, but without a little research, it's not too hard to determine. But I just think that's a little too close to home, so I'm going to try to keep that out of there. I will neither confirm nor deny any comments about that. Almost my era of music, jam. Awesome. Wojtek CYVR, how to find you on Discord. Check the description. There should be a link in the description for you guys to join. Alright, let's go ahead and take a look at our clearance here. Alright. Back in the cockpit here, I apologize. Clearance delivery frequency for Portland. We're going to do this right, guys. I'm going to take an extra minute or two just setting up my charts so I'm not so poor with ATC here. I want to make sure we do it right and we don't make him any more upset than he already is with us. We are filed as Spirit Wing 749 now to San Francisco International Airport. You can track the aircraft on Pilot Edge for route information as well. Right now we're parked at Delta 6. Clearance delivery frequency for Portland is 120.12. And make sure we reconnected. We did. Portland clearance, good morning, Spirit Wing 749, IFR to San Francisco.
Spirit Wing 749 is no flight plan, sir.
Right. Well, here we go again. Refile. So I think I know what's happening on this Pilot Edge, if you guys are familiar with it. It's asked for aircraft registration, and it puts in an N number, but they actually want your call sign in that box, which is a little bit misleading for me. So I'm going to refile that with the call sign instead of the actual registration. Line 5, there we go. We should be refiled. Portland to San Francisco. Oh, 36,000. Alright. File that flight plan. It is filed. Storehead says, hey, which one should I purchase? The Toliss 319 or Flight Factor 320? And yes, I have I know your video on it. Is it possible to simplify it? Yeah, we could talk about it a little bit as well again when we get up in cruise. We talked about it yesterday in cruise. We'll talk about it again in cruise since we're in the Toliss now. Might be a little bit easier for you to understand what I'm referring to. So let's go ahead and give this another call here. Portland clearance, Spirit Wing 749. How about now? You showing that to San Francisco?
Spirit Wing 749, Portland clearance, clear to the San Francisco Airport Mini 5 departure, ESIN, transition, then S-file. Climb and maintain 7,000, expect flight level 350, 10 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 118.42, squawk 6324.
Alright, clear to San Francisco via the Mine 5 departure, Eastern transition as filed. Maintain 7,000, 350 and 10, departures 1842, squawking 6324, Spearwing 749.
Spearwing 749, read back correct.
Alright, so we've got all of that. Let's jump over here, put that in the box. We're going to squawk, whoa, sorry about the camera there. Squawking 7, oops, nope, don't want to do that. Squawking 6324. We're going to do this right. We're not going to piss him off this time, guys. Go ahead and put that in transponder mode. 6324 in the squawk. Initial altitude is going to be 7,000 feet. Boom, boom. Up to 7,000. One FD2. All right. Alright, so we are... Where are we off to? Danny Blizzard asks, where are we off to, Captain? We are off to San Francisco. And we're leaving from Portland International. This has Spirit Wings 749. Okay, let's go ahead and make sure the aircraft is configured. Overhead panel is good. We have our APU bleed is on. Let's go ahead and get the beacon light on. The doors and windows are closed and armed. 7,000 initial. Good squawk. Let's plan our pushback.
Round to cockpit. Plan acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you are ready.
Since we don't have to call them because we're not pushing onto a movement area, as I have learned from you guys.
Denver ground, November 285 at General Aviation Parking with information Charlie, request taxi.
Tier 285 Denver ground, good morning, runway 17 left, taxi via Mike, Echo Delta.
Alright, doors and windows are closed and locked. Beacon is on. Thrust levers idle. Parking brake is set for now. Parking checklist. Oh, I'm sorry. Before start checklist complete. Here comes the tug. Dex says, can you send the flight attendant to 11C? Yeah, I'll send her back there for you, buddy. You can sit next to her.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
He is connecting. Yeah, we can turn the brake fans off. I will do that in a second here, guys. I am just putting in the route into my iPad. Which is the Mini 5.
So connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
Alright, release, you're clear to push.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
Brake fan can come off. Yes, they can. Let's get the Addons as well while we're pushing back here. Man, I wish they had an ACARS for the Addons so you don't have to listen to it each time. But that's alright. 2835.
Portland International Airport. ATIS information uniform. 1553 Zulu. Windcom. Visibility 10. Ceiling 2,300 broken. 3,700 broken. Temperature 17. dew.11. Altimeter 3001. Arriving and departing runways 10 left, 10 right. ILS runway 10 left and runway 10 right approach in use. Simultaneous approaches to parallel runways in use. VFR departures contact clearance delivery, advise on course heading, altitude, and if flight following is requested. Read back all runway assignments and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact you have information uniform.
All right, we don't need any more of that. We got information uniform. Let's go ahead and fire it up. Start engine 1. We'll start the chronometer too. Give it a little time test here. The real aircraft, it's almost exactly 1 minute and 10 seconds for engine start. It's a little bit accelerated in the Toliss, but maybe these are super new engines and we have a super strong APU. I'm looking forward to just a little bit longer cruise in this flight. We can chat about some different things that don't have to be so rushed.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
Brakes are set. Clear to disconnect.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
Chris Devlantes says, if ATC assigns you a higher Mach number during cruise, do you check if you have enough fuel first? Yeah, typically you're filed at a relatively high Mach number anyway, so if they assign you something faster, it's not going to be much of an issue. The best way to check, it's a very good question. I've got a good start on 1. Let's go ahead and start number 2, reset the chrono, disconnect and hand signals. The best way to check your fuel burn is when you're on the flight plan page here, go ahead and pull selected speed, and when you change your Mach number, your fuel remaining will change to whatever is in the FCU. That's the best way to check it. And you can see we often do that if it's go home day and maybe the company filed us at 7.6 Mach or a cost index of 10.
Has been removed. Hand signal will be on the right. We'll see you next time and have a great flight.
All right, thanks for the push. We'll see you next time. And you want to go a little bit faster, we'll bump it up in the FCU up top, and then you'll see your remaining fuel so you can see, do I have enough to burn or not? And you can make your calculations that way. All right, there's a turnover on 2.
Launch aircraft calling is broken.
All right. Now what's bothering me is this should be all dashes, and in the real aircraft, when you disconnect your flight directors like this, and then you put them back on, it should recycle this up here. Doesn't seem to be doing that. Little discrepancy there. But we still have one FD2, we'll just watch it. Alright, we need to call ground, give him a call. He's gonna be pissed. Hopefully he's not still mad at us. Let's make sure we're squawking the right code. 6324. Yes, it is. Ground, good morning, Spear Wing 749 with information uniform, ready to taxi off Delta 4.
Spear Wing 749. Portland ground, runway 10 left at Echo, taxi via Echo 2 and Echo.
10 left and Echo, taxi via Echo 2, Echo, Spear Wing 749. Alright, so he's giving us an intersection departure at Echo.
Citation 0 Lima Lima radar contact 12
So in
north of
real
Fairfield.
world, we would actually have to run our performance datas for that intersection takeoff and make sure we have enough. What we're going to do now is we're just going to go ahead and go no flex. We're going to do a full toga takeoff out of here. Just put 0 in there, maybe. Alright, what we'll do is we're gonna do a toga takeoff because we're coming off of an intersection. Alright, let's go brakes release, taxi light on, and let's get out of here.
Air Canada 4351 Oakland Center, roger. Descend via the Surfer 3 arrival and report leaving flight level 300.
Echo 2 and Echo. So we're going to make a right turn. There's Echo 2 and a right turn onto Echo. Let's go ahead and do a flight control check. Full up. Full down. Neutral. Full left. Full right. Neutral. Rudders. Full left. Full right. Neutral. Trying to look down and taxi at the same time. All right, flight attendants, please prepare for takeoff. We've got our engine warm-up time there. We are good to go. Since it's been a hot start, we just turned the airplane around. We only have to wait 3 minutes after engine start instead of a 5-minute warm-up for a cold aircraft. We're going to go ahead and hold short right here, set the parking brakes. I have the parking brakes set on a key command. That's why you don't see me looking down there all the time. And we're going to just do a quick overview here. Gross weight clearance complete. Pitch trim is 38.5. Set CG set. What do we got? V1, VR, V2 flex. We got 149, 49, 52. We're not going to flex off runway 10 left. Up to 7,000 feet. Everything looks good. Tower frequency is going to be, for 10 left, 18.7. And then we'll throw the departure in there as well. Departure freak for us is 1842. Alright, so the Mine 5, we're going off 10 left out to a river. Make sure that's in the box here. Looks good. Alright. Tower Spring 749, holding short 10 left Echo, ready for departure.
Spring 749, Portland Tower, runway 10 left at Echo, cleared for takeoff, wind calm.
10 left at Echo, cleared for takeoff, Spring 749. Alright, we're good to go, guys. Let's get out of here. Daniel Carly asked you not to put the strobe in auto for pushback. No, we manually turn them on as we take the runway here. It should be on. There we go. Alright, 10 left. Let's get the screen up for you. We're going to go with
Toliss 2298, radar contact position check. Taking you
pull them up 50%.
Roger, thanks.
And here we go. Mantoga, SRS runway. Auto thrust is blue. $80 knots. Thrust set.
Citation 0 Lima Lima. Contact Salt Lake Center 135.77.
V1. Rotate. Positive rate, gear up. Disarm the speed brakes.
Citation 510 Lima Lima, Salt Lake Center, thanks.
This should be nav. There we go. That's why that important that FCU is proper on takeoff. It was stuck in heading mode there. Normally when you clear your flight directors out like that, it will reset it. But we're naving now. Lever climb, wait for the positive trend in airspeed. There it is. Thrust climb, auto thrust.
Denver Tower, November 285, runway 17 left, ready for
Here
departure.
comes our retraction
Bearing
speed there.
749, contact departure.
Departure, we'll see us, bearing 749.
Hangar
Flaps
285,
0.
Denver Tower, fly heading 185, runway 17 left, cleared for takeoff, wind 230 at 4.
Heading 185, 17.
That doesn't sound right. 1842. 1842. Departure, mid-morning, runway 749, 3.6, climb on VA to mine 5.
Spearwing 749, Portland departure, radar contact. Say again your altitude, your assigned altitude?
We're 4 climbing 7,000, Spearwing 749.
I'm sorry, I thought I heard you said climbing via. Spearwing 749, radar contact, climb and maintain 15,000.
Climb maintain 15,000, Spearwing 749. 15 blue. This guy's got a little bit of an attitude today. Adrian J. Brentonville, do you ask ops for Tora in this case via ACARS? Takeoff remaining available, I'm assuming is what you're asking. Yes, so when we have, I think I've showed you guys in some of the takeoff performance data videos on my channel, like where we did the Toliss 319 and takeoff data. I show you what the ACARS printouts look like, and what we would do is we would make sure that you put in the runway entry point that you've been assigned to depart from, and then it would send us back numbers for that exact spot on the runway. And you know, it may change your flex or flap setting if it's a significant change. Sometimes, you know, they're only 20 feet apart or whatever, it's really no change. But to make sure you cross your T's and dot your I's, we do send for that takeoff data with that exact runway transition from the ACARS. No, now, yes, it's the Xplane clouds. Default clouds, guys, default clouds. 9.5 clue coming 10,000, that's close enough here. Let's go ahead and kill some of these lights.
Spearwing 749, contact Seattle Center, 121.4.
21.4, Spearwing 749. This guy is not happy, but he seems to be on every frequency I go to. Man, I'd love to talk to somebody else now. That's the good thing about real world flying. Switch frequencies, you don't have to talk to the guy that just pissed off. Seattle Center, good morning, Spearwing 749, 10-8, climbing 15,000.
Spearwing 749, Seattle Center, Roger, climb and maintain flight level 230.
Flight level 230, Spearwing 749. He doesn't seem to remember that he tried to vector us the absolute wrong direction turning onto the localizer. If you guys remember that, he said turn left heading 310, and I was like, you sure you want me to turn into the mountains? But I didn't have to be rude.
Hangar 285, Denver departure, radar contact.
Although we did have a pilot deviation, so that's reason enough probably to set somebody off. Alright, we're above 10,000 feet. We're accelerating 99 cost index. Well, let's have a look outside. Man, we are sure getting a beautiful view of all that ortho scenery, huh? We're going to have to pick a different part of the country to fly around on. Story it says the baristas didn't put enough cream into his coffee. Yeah, it does. That's exactly what it sounds like. Connor Lou, hey Captain, how are you? I'm doing just fine, Connor. Thanks for joining the stream. How are you doing this morning? This is Lake 2. On our stream, we're going Portland to San Francisco with a very angry controller. Tom Bordeaux says they take themselves very seriously since it's a training network, but once you learn their quirks, they're actually really good. Yeah, Tom, I'm not trying to knock them by any means. I'm actually very impressed with the Pilot Edge network. I mean, so much so that when we had that deviation going into Portland, I actually got scared. I was like, oh my God, I just violated air traffic. So the immersion level is there. It is a great network. So I can understand them taking it seriously. I'm just having a little fun with it. But it is a great network. I'm glad that they take it very seriously. as they are training to become real controllers. Because who
Canadian
knows, maybe I'll be
285, turn
talking to
right
them
heading
in real life down the
280.
road. So I do want them to do their job correctly and hold me accountable for any mistakes that I make. So I am impressed.
Maintain 11,000.
Yeah, Sanjeev Singh says
Air Canada 4351, contact
they use the
North
to point out issues
121.3.
from a Linux perspective. Yeah, absolutely.
121.3, Air Canada 4351.
Absolutely. Alright, 23 is blue. Looking at 15. Just a little bit longer here. I swear we're going to get away from these clouds at some point, guys. You think I should ask this guy for direct, or do you think he's going to get pissed off? Cedric Yeo asked, what's a pilot deviation? A pilot deviation is when you do something in the aircraft
Over 3,
against
Tango
air
Alpha,
traffic
Salt Lake,
control
approach, maintain
and
VFR, squawk
plan,
3761.
your filed plan of action. So, for instance, what happened to us was we deviated from the arrival route. The Airbus, when I changed runways, the real Airbus will automatically change your arrival. Change the transition
285, clear direct to Connor, join
that
the red
did not
table
happen
transition,
when I
climb
did
and
it
maintain flight
in
level
the
180.
Toliss 319 here this morning. And what caused that, what happened was I ended up flying the wrong direction, which you can understand is a big no-no because they have a lot of traffic, in real life anyway, there's a lot of traffic coming in and out of the airport. Everybody is on a predetermined path. Here's 18,000 feet. Let's go ahead and set standard set. That's an 18. So they want to make sure
Air Canada 4351,
that you're
North
staying
Alpha,
on
thank you,
your plan
Altimeter
of action.
3000, expect islands from
When you
28
deviate from
left
that,
approach
that
at
is
Eddie.
known as a pilot deviation, and it will go into your file, and it will follow you around wherever you go in your career for the most part. So
True, 749, contact Seattle Center 135.15.
3515 is probably so for us. So yeah, deviation is anything.
Number
that you
3
do
Tango
wrong.
Alpha, radar contact, let's see, approximately 9 miles south of Ogden. Say again your altitude. And what is your request again? Number 3 Tango Alpha, roger. Remain outside of the Bravo airspace for now. Altimeter 29904. Do you have Delta?
Tool and Tips Gaming. Hi from Italy. Awesome, man. Glad to have you here. I'm actually Italian myself. So, awesome. Welcome to the stream. Sorry, it says he looked at weather.com and said San Fran is a bit cloudy. Well, that's no good.
Number 3 Tango Alpha, can you head further off to the east, follow I-29 down, stay outside the Bravo airspace for now.
As you can see, the
And
sounds
follow
are
I-25 southbound if you can.
good, but it's not BSS. Pretty darn good from a stereo perspective here. The flyby was a little underwhelming.
I-15
But, you know, if this aircraft does get that BSS sound pack, oh man, it is going to be really hard to not fly. Alright, well, it looks like we're going to have some smooth air here. We're 22 for 23. Let's go ahead and turn the seatbelt sign off. Ron B asked, would the flight factor A320 change the arrival? Yes, it would. I've had it change the arrival. So I don't know if it was a mistake on my input. I don't know if we were already on a transition. I'm going to have to rewatch the stream a little bit to see exactly what happened. But yes, the flight factor, I know for a fact, does change the arrival and change the runway. Speed out star. We're going to ask this guy for a little bit higher here. I hope he doesn't get pissed. 749, chance we can climb going level into 230.
Sterling 749, Seattle Center, roger. Climb maintain flight level 350. I don't think I got your check-in.
I maintain 350, Sterling 749. .23 for 35. We are
3 Tango Alpha, contact Salt Lake approach 125.7.
John Smith says, I can't hear you talking over the Pilot Edge controller. Let me adjust the volume from the radio then. Make it a little bit less loud. Let's take a look at outside here. Let's go up this way. Trying to find a good.
17, you have the airport in, say?
Alright, just making sure the radio is set at the right volume.
Number 3 Tango Alpha, roger, follow I-15.
Imtiaz Mohammed, take care guys, gotta run, we'll catch up on the replay. Awesome, thanks Cap for a great tour, awesome job. Thanks sir. I'll catch you on the next time, thanks for joining the stream. We'll see you next time. Cedric, yeah, imagine you flying Boeing on a stream one day. Storehead says, I dare you, V1. Well, you know what, guys? I love the FlyJSim 737-200. So if you guys want to see it, we can fire up a stream with that. Obviously, I haven't flown one in real life, but I'm relatively familiar with its systems and operations, so I would love to take it for a flight. We can do some SIVA INS flying as well. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the SIVA INS. I can show you guys how to run that. We can do a route. The 737-200. FlyJSim products are top notch. If you haven't, if you don't have any of them and you're looking to get an old school airliner, man, the 737 is amazing. The 727 is also amazing. What I really like about the FlyJSim is the everything in the cockpit has wear.
Runway 17, clear to land.
So I mean, you can have light bulbs and stuff that are popping out, or I'm sorry, not popping out, but that are extinguishing. So you'll have, you know, an ignition light or something that doesn't come on, and that's because the bulb has wore out. So it actually puts a purpose to doing your pre-flight checklist, which I think is really cool. I mean, we get in the airplane on some of these modules, and it's, you know, we expect, oh, it's going to be 100% every single time. Everything's going to work. The FlyJSim is not like that. You really have to go through your checks, especially the 727. I mean, it is one heck of an airplane to fly. I love it. If you guys recall, I actually said if I wish I could fly one airplane that I haven't flown, it would be the 727. And I actually have ordered a new flight control yoke for Boeing aircraft. I don't know if you guys have heard about it. It's the honeycomb flight control yoke, out for pre-order right now. I think it's going to be released in September. But the honeycomb Alpha Flight Controls is the yoke that I have put a pre-order in, and that's really going to help with when we start doing the piston series, and later on we'll probably do a turboprop series, and we're going to be flying a lot of aircraft that have yokes in them. So I wanted to get a new yoke. I have a very old SATEC yoke that is very sticky. I've tried to modify it many times, but it's almost impossible to fly smoothly with. So be looking forward to that. I hate those ugly window frame textures. You're talking about in the cabin? Yeah, they're not very awesome. But I mean, I guess they're trying to protect the performance of the aircraft.
Solid 2298 contact.
See here, we'll go through the cabin, go for a little walk.
134.6 Southwest 2298.
There's the back. Let's go to the front. Let's go to the front galley. Let's go see what the flight attendants are doing up there. Welcome to the front galley. Nice model here on the aircraft door. Unfortunately, I'm not going to speak too much to it for security reasons, obviously. Here is the flight attendant calls panel. What's really cool is in the flight factor, I believe it's a flight factor, you can actually adjust some items on here. Also on the Captain Sim, I keep saying Captain Sim. Man, that's old school FSX, huh? On the FlyJ Sim 7.3, you have galley lights and cabin lights that you actually adjust from back here in the flight attendant panel, which is pretty cool. We've got storage, coffee pots, galley carts. Go in here, get a snack. Unfortunately, can't really open anything back here, but I think they did that intentionally for performance, performance data, performance on the model. All right, back to the cockpit now.
Your tango off. We'll keep that roll on going. Exit left, kilo 2.
Daniel Carley, yep, 732 with SIVA is a great fun. Yeah, man, the SIVA INS is so satisfying. It's tricky to get into at first and how to learn it, but once you learn it and you complete a flight using the SIVA INS and old school VORs, it is awesome. I mean, I know they allow the option to use the default FMS in the FlyJ Sim products, but that's just a sin. I almost wish that they wouldn't allow that. But I mean, everyone has a different level of understanding, right? So you got to put that in there, and which I admit I've used it a couple times when I just want to do a quick direct really far.
Recently been removed. Go all the way down kilo turning at the end kilo.
But yeah, the FlyJ Sim SIVA is so satisfying. It's such a high workload, but it is so satisfying when you complete a flight with it. Ernom 976, don't forget the 727. Ron, I know Ernom 976. He's a great dude. Yeah, 727, we're talking about it. Storehead says FlyJ Sim should do a DC-10 or L-1011. That would be really cool if they did. I know they're working on the Q400, which is another aircraft I am super excited about, though. So I'm getting a little bit of turbulence here. Let's go ahead and turn that seatbelt sign on. The Q400 that they're working on is going to be awesome. I'm really looking forward to that aircraft. I used to fly for a regional airline that operated Q400s. I wasn't on the Q400, but I've ridden the jump seat and I've played around the sim a little bit with it, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun to fly that when they finally get that finished, because like I said, their products, they come out top-notch quality, great add-on. Looking forward to that, especially when they come out with their multi-crew. They have a whole multi-crew platform that's coming out. That's where we get into the flight instructor series. It's just tentative thinking now, but I'm thinking we're going to have some kind of program where if you want to actually have real-life flight lessons, because I mean I still keep my instructor certificate current. I actually have to renew it here in September, I believe. But we'll be able to sit in the same airplane, and the default 172 is actually a really great aircraft in Xplane 11. The way it handles, the way it flies, the default 172 is awesome, so props to Laminar for that. And I think it would be cool to do a little flight instruction series, learning basic airport operations, traffic pattern work, radio comms. So all that would be a lot of fun, I think. And we can all do it from the same cockpit. To your point, Storehead, about the DC-10 or L-1011, though, I believe it's Rotate Sim is going to be doing a MD-11. That's really going to be a lot of fun, too. They have a great product in their MD-80 and their Mad Dog. So that will be a lot of fun for that. I can't wait for the MD-11 as well. Kind of looks like Sunnycoast supposed to be really good. Yeah, that's what I've heard, man. We're going to find out. Daniel Carley, yes, I pre-ordered from the Aerosoft store. I actually, since I do live in North America, it said on the Aerosoft page that they didn't have, it was only for European distribution, so I was confused about it. I sent an email to Honeycomb asking, you know, about that situation. Is this where I pre-order from? And they said yes, that's where you pre-order from, even though you're in the United States. So Aerosoft is where I pre-ordered from. Albert Christian Camea de Oliveira. I really apologize, guys, if I butcher some of these names. My last name is pretty hard to pronounce as well, but I apologize if I butcher your names. Does the Toliss let you make step altitude in your flight plan? Because the Flight Factor A320 does not, if I'm not mistaken. So, you're looking, let's go ahead and take a look. We're definitely getting some bumps up here. You're wondering about step climbs. You can put different altitudes in here for, you know, if you want to be at a different altitude, make it a constraint. But as far as planning purposes, the best way to do a step, or like a whole step climb thing for us anyway, that would be something that's relayed to us from our dispatch paperwork. We would actually have on our flight plan, you know, we're going to climb to this altitude, reaching this fix, then we're going to have a step climb to our new cruise altitude. So, not quite sure. Let's see, we'll go to the perf page here. I think that's what you're asking. Unless you want to know like what your fuel burn and stuff would be at a different altitude. The best way I would recommend doing that is, you wouldn't be able to do it in the Toliss, but in the Flight Factor, what you could do is what I would do in the real airplane anyway, is I would copy active from your secondary, copy your active flight plan, then go to your perf page in your secondary and put in that new cruise altitude. We do that quite often for if we get a lower altitude and we want to know if we can accept it. For instance, like we're getting bumped around here pretty good at 350, and we could ask, you know, the controllers, hey, can we get a lower altitude for weather? Is it smoother down there? They say, hey, you can go down to, you know, 29,000 feet. It's smooth, but that's going to increase our fuel burn significantly. So what we would do to check, we say, okay, hold on 1 second, copy active flight plan, and then in the secondary, we would put in our new cruise altitude, and it would tell us our fuel burn and the change in the two flight levels. So that is why, you know, that secondary function, well, listen, a lot of people don't use it, and Toliss decided not to model it immediately. I think they might be modeling it here in a future update. It does come in handy for, you know, different altitude, different speeds, things like that. All right, we've leveled 35.
Here, 285, contact Aspen approach 123.8.
Aspen approach 123.8.
Okay, that's where it's fine. Citation.
Christian Bears, greeting from Belgium.
124.62.
Europe. I really enjoy your videos. Awesome, man. I'm glad you enjoy them.
351, you're through the localizer. The airport's 12 o'clock. And
hopefully I can keep creating content that you enjoy. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Connor Lou, is there a reason pilots can't talk about that door? Yes, it's just for safety. You know, same thing with cockpit door operation. I'm not going to get into that. Here's our cockpit door controls. It's just safety related. We're under, you know, we can't share that information with anybody that's not relevant to. So, unfortunately, I can't talk about the operation of the cockpit door and/or doors on the aircraft.
Tier 285, thanks for Whiskey Fly heading 250, vectors for localizer, and descend and maintain.
Daniel Carley, yep, totally. It's old school flying the 732. I can't fly that with the normal FMC. It just seems wrong. I totally agree, man. That normal FMC it's wrong. It just seems wrong to have it in there. Rotate, great developer. I'm definitely looking forward to it. JJ, hey, how are you doing? I'm doing just fine, JJ. How are you doing? Question, when do you hit approach phase, or better, activate? All right, well, I've talked about this a couple times. and I'll just touch on it briefly here, but you can, I talk about it in my professional series in the descent and landing video to an extent. Essentially what happens on your perf descent or perf page, activate, confirm, what happens is the airplane is going to come to I'll show you here, a deceleration point. So in every approach, the Airbus will plan a deceleration point for you. Now that deceleration point is, let's see if I can find it here, there it is. Make it bigger. Right there at Bodega. See that decel point? So if I leave the aircraft in managed speed and I fly into that deceleration point, the aircraft will automatically activate the approach phase for me. And what can happen is the airplane is going to attempt to slow. And if you have a speed restriction or a restriction on the star that you need to comply with, it will not comply with that. So it's our procedure that when we hit 10,000 feet, we manually activate and confirm the approach phase, and we pull selected speed. So make sure you pull selected speed before you do that, because if you don't, then you will have, it'll start slowing immediately. So you want to make sure that you activate and confirm the approach phase when your selected speed is out. And that, you know, needs to be right here. You would just, let's see, pull. So 2 dots in the Toliss means pull. And now we are at selected speed, and you could activate and confirm the approach phase and you won't go anywhere. So we do that below 10,000 feet, and then we just manually adjust the speed to comply with any restrictions on the arrival. It's very common in North America and the United States to have different speeds than what's published and different arrivals. So, or not different arrivals, but different restrictions. They may say, hey, we need you for traffic, maintain this altitude instead of this, or comply with the speed at this fix only. So it just is a little bit easier to keep it standard for everybody to do the same thing, which is 10,000 feet, activate and confirm. But I talk about that in depth on my professional series, so go ahead and check that out if you still have questions. Let's go ahead and remanage the speed here. Albert Christian says, in progress page, what is the report update at? You're talking about... Okay, this is in reference to... God, I'm drawing a blank. You're getting an updated performance calculation here at the updated, when you put in a fix here. So for instance, let's look at NV. And it doesn't appear to let me, okay, no, so this is, I haven't done this in a while. I'm actually drawing a blank here. I'm pretty sure that is getting you an update on your position. This is a position. This has to do with INS, I believe. I'm actually... I apologize, man. I am drawing a blank on this right now. But I'm pretty sure it's in reference to position information, not fuel burn or anything like that. I apologize, man. I'm going to have to refresh my memory on that because obviously you can tell how often we use it. I'm not even, I can't recall right now, so I apologize. Drawing a blank. Finally, we can see some ortho photos. Andre says, so no baggage guy fan of your jumping 320 and doing barrel roll with it. So no baggage guy fan of your jump 320.
Air Canada 4351, that taxiway you exited on.
I'm not sure I understand that.
For a while. Now,
We don't want to be doing barrel rolls.
if
That's
you can.
true though.
Maybe
Christopher
fly
Levin
next
says
to the next
V1
time, make sure you
Act
had,
Box
a little bit further
711,
down
another really
Echo
Airbus type does things differently, but he's in Europe though. Less than plane controller speed and less than procedure requires something different. Right, and like I said, there's a lot of differences between flying in Europe and in the United States. In the United States, it's not as I want to say controlled as in Europe. I mean, I probably fly maybe 10% of all arrivals are actual descend via all the way, and you comply with everything. You get vectored off, you get assigned different speeds. It becomes the Wild West, especially when you start going into very busy airports. You know, they'll be saying maintain max forward speed till this waypoint. So it's so common that it's our company's procedure that we activate early, and everybody does the same thing. That way we're both actively engaged and we're doing the same thing over and over. It doesn't matter if we're going into an airport that doesn't have an arrival speed versus one that does. We're all on the same page. So it's much more pilot controlled here in the United States. We definitely are in more of control of what the aircraft is actually doing in reference to automation, to my understanding, because from what I understand, it's very common over there to you get assigned an arrival and you will fly that arrival, that altitude, those speeds all the way down. Very rare that that happens here. So that's the reason that we do it the way we do it out here. There's, you know, it's an Airbus. There's 100 different ways to do the same thing. So it's not one way is right, one way is wrong. It's just different. Connor Lou asks, have you ever flown into Atlanta? If so, what was coordinating with heavy traffic at ATC? Oh yeah, man, I do Atlanta quite a bit. We do Atlanta turns actually, so I'm based in Dallas, and we go to Atlanta quite often. And it can be hairy, man. That comes back to that, you know, activate approach phase thing. We're flying, you know, with so much traffic, you'll be flying an arrival, and that whole deceleration thing on your McDo that the Airbus calculates only works if you do not deviate from your lateral position. It's very common to get vectored off for a heading because somebody is getting in front of you, or they're going to vector somebody in behind you, and you need different spacing. So it can get very intense, especially during rush hours when you have, you know, hundreds of airplanes coming into the airport and hundreds departing at the same time. Everybody's got to be on their game. Anything at Atlanta, New York, Miami, Chicago, LAX, these are all airports that you go into, you have your A game on, because it can get hectic very fast and you can get behind the airplane if you're not on top of it. Dougal says, thanks so much for your work. I appreciate it, Dougal. Thank you. I'm an avid flight simmer, guys. I love flight simming and I love aviation, all things aviation. And I'm glad you guys enjoy the content that I'm able to produce for you. It makes me happy. And actually, honestly, guys, it makes me enjoy my job even more because I get to... I was flying Sunday, and, you know, I was thinking about, ooh, what's my next video going to be? When should I stream next? And I'm looking at all these things, trying to be more engaged in what's going on at work so I can bring that to you in the flight sim community, and it's really helped me too. So I'm glad you enjoy it. I definitely love doing it. Thanks for the kind words. Danny Blizzard coming in with let me get this right, 2 pounds. 2 pounds, right? I had a problem identifying currencies earlier. 2 pounds. Thanks for the great video, Captain. Get the beers in. Danny, I've got a cold one sitting in the fridge. As soon as we get on the ground, I'm going to pop that sucker open, and I'm going to enjoy it. Thank you very much for your support, man. Really appreciate it. I said every time, you guys are the backbone to this channel and the content that it's going to provide. I really hope that your support for this channel is showing for improvements for you guys, because I'm doing it for you guys. I want you guys to have the best content possible. Thank you again, Danny. I am Dimitri says, don't give the guys in your decks with you any ideas about drawing blanks on the McDo. Yeah, I won't try not to draw blank, man. You know what? It's funny that I noticed even on the last stream, after I streamed for about 2 hours, 2.5 hours of talking, my mind starts to melt and I start to I start misspeaking and start drawing blanks on a lot of things. So I appreciate your patience, guys, hanging in there with me. And even if I don't get all your questions, I'm trying my best. And by no means am I an Airbus god or anything like that. The Airbus, there's so much about the Airbus, and there's so many ways to do the same thing over. It's just, I learn something new every day when I fly the Airbus too. I mean, it's amazing. Oh wow, that actually happens, and then you learn information, and then you forget information, then you relearn it. You're like, oh yeah, that's what that did. So by no means am I a know-it-all on the Airbus. I just try to do my best and explain what I can to you guys from what's fresh in my mind. And actually, I got to be going to recurrent here in the fall. So when I go to recurrent training, I typically get a little bit sharper because I hit the books a little bit harder and refresh all those operational procedures, things that you don't do on a daily basis. Man, look at that scenery coming out of there. That is awesome, huh? That is beautiful. Man.
749, contact Oakland Center 132.905.
132.905, Sterling 749. Oakland Center, good morning, Sterling 749, level 350.
Sterling 749, Oakland Center, Roger.
All right, I'm gonna take a quick break from the comments here, guys. I'm gonna set up the arrival before we get in there because I don't want to have any problems like we did last time coming in on the arrival into Portland. So let me just take a quick break from the comments there. I'm not going to skip over you. I'm going to get back to them. Keep asking questions. I'm just going to load up the box here.
Retard.
Thanks for the subscribe there. Appreciate it. All right, pulling up the San Francisco RNAV arrival. Man, that looks pretty out there. See if we can go ahead and just do a quick setup here. Oh, let's see if we can get the ATIS. It might be a little far out. Let's give it a try. 1885.
TRJ5, stay on my frequency, take off to the right.
All right, San Francisco ATIS is not in range yet. So I'm going to pull up the weather here on my other chart. 1885, we got the right frequency in there. All right, we'll just keep that up and see if we can hear it. And let's go ahead and take a look into what we're doing. Flight plan. We got our constraints on. Let's go plan mode. Let's take a look at the star. Landing on landing runway 28 right into SFO. Melbeck. Joan 280, that's in there. Bigelow 280 knots. Low 230, that matches the chart. It's actually so in the real aircraft, this is kind of an outdated ND explanation here as well. It should show you the actual window on the ND. It should say 23 and 190. There should be a box, so it shows you the full constraint. This just says below 23, but it's actually below 23 above 19. Into Lozit, Bodega, Cork, and then we should branch off to bricks. And then I imagine we're going to have a radar vector to We're not quite in range yet. We'll go ahead and turn that off, but it looks like it's going to be 28 right. I think I heard that. All right, so that looks good in the box there. Let's go ahead and verify 28 right axial. That looks good. And let's pull up the approach data. We're going to descend at 310 knots, 7.9er Mach. What? Oh, that's why. 310, 7.9er, there we go. Approach, we're going to get that information. The MDA, let's throw that in here. I'm just throwing this in early, and actually in the real aircraft, guys, we begin our approach preparations right about 250 miles out. So we are, this is definitely realistic to prepare this early. You definitely want to be prepared before you get there, especially going into, like I said, these busy airports. Oh no, there we go. Oop, thought we had a little hiccup there. 213 in the DA. We're going to get the environmentals here. Let's see if we can listen to it.
Approach and use. VFR departure, contact, clearance, delivery, advise on course heading, altitude, and if flight following is requested. Read back all runway assignments and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact. You have information, Lima.
So information, the Lima's current. Let's go ahead and copy the environmentals.
San Francisco International Airport. ATIS information, Lima. 1656 Zulu. Wind 230 at 10, gust 19er. Visibility 9er. Few clouds at 800. Ceiling 1100 overcast. Temperature 16. Dew point 11. Altimeter 3001. Arriving runways 28 left, 28 right. Departing runways 1 left, 1 right. ILS runway 28 right.
All right, it's going to be a little sporty down there, boys. We got a temperature of 16. I'm going to move this over here because I think I'm getting... Actually, let's go ahead and just do this. We've got a temperature of 16. QNH is 3001. A little bit gusty down there. So what we do is we actually take the steady state wind and do not apply any gust factor. 230 at 10 is the steady state. Gusting to 19. So we're going to have a little ground speed mini, hopefully. Alright, our perf data is set. Alright.
Station 0 Delta Whiskey, climb and maintain flight level 230.
Yep, flight level 2300.
I think we are ready to go. Alright, I feel confident now that we can descend into San Francisco and not have any issues. Alright, let's get back to comments here. Albert Christian, how long does it take to refuel an Airbus A319 or 320 from an empty tank? Ooh, man, it can take a while. I believe, I haven't done this, I think you can dual... No, you can't dual pump on the 320. I'm getting on the Airbus, I'm getting a little fuse from a different aircraft I flew. It could take a while, man. The refuel rates, that if you actually do them, I think it's in the flight factor. I don't know how to simulate actual refueling in the Toliss. Maybe you guys can let me know. I just know how to do that quick refuel. But in the real aircraft, it takes a little bit of time, man. I can't say that I've gone from empty to full. Very rare do we fly around with full tanks. You're only going to take as much gas as you need, and then for your alternate and reserve. You're not going to fly around with full tanks hardly at all. Matter of fact, I can't even remember the last time I took full fuel. It would probably have to be Lima, which is about 6.5 hours one way. And then you need an alternate because it's an international destination. So I would imagine Lima is probably the most fuel you take, but I can't recall if it's 100% or not. It'll take a while though, from 0 to full. I promise you, it'll take a while, maybe 20 minutes. Google says I'm in the UK and find stars harder than USA. Yeah, I mean, are you referring to like it's harder for you to fly vectored approaches than follow a star? That, I mean, if that's what you're getting at, then yeah, I can agree with that. It really will mess you up, man. You have your arrival, everything planned out, and the Airbus knows what it wants to do, and then you start getting vectored around.
Turn left heading 250 vectors to Grand Junction, VR.
It does make it.
Left heading 2500.
It does make it a little bit more difficult. You really got to be on top of your game. Storehead says he means the baggage dude will hop in your jump seat. Oh, took control of the cube front end. Oh, yeah. Now it makes sense, Storehead. Thank you. Yeah. That's right, exactly. That's why we don't talk about cockpit doors. Blue Mac, I'm here. Well, I'm glad you're here, buddy. Good to see you. Albert Christian, does U.S. companies fly wide-body airplanes on domestic routes? Yeah, we do sometimes. We definitely do. Just depends. Captain Kringle's been subscribed to this channel since your flight factor taxi procedure takeoff videos. Awesome, man. I'm glad that you've been subscribed.
When you're able to proceed direct to Grand Junction VOR and resume on navigation, contact Denver Center 133.67.
13367, direct Grand Junction on navigation.
I'm glad you're enjoying the content, Captain Kringles.
Trailing 749, descend via the Bodega 3 arrival, report leaving flight level 350.
Descend via Bodega 3, we'll report leaving 35-0, Spearwing 749. And for Spearwing 749, you're getting a little weak on that radio. Do you have a different frequency for us, or you want us to stay with you here?
Spearwing 749, yeah, let's try, I don't know, 132.95 should be your best frequency.
Okay, we'll hold here 132.95, we'll descend via, report leaving 35, Spearwing 749.
Spearwing 749, just change your COM to CTAP frequency, like 122.8 or something different. You're probably getting static from your COM2.
Okay, we'll do that. Thank you, sir.
Denver Center, citation 820, Delta Whiskey, coming through flight level 200, flight level 230, direct Grand Junction.
Marine 00 Delta Whiskey.
Oh, yeah.
Denver Center, Roger, climb, maintain flight
cool.
level 360.
I was getting static. All right, he gave us a descend via, so let's go ahead and pull up that chart again. We're going to triple check this.
Fix the issue.
Yes, sir. Spearwing 749, much better now. Thank you.
Yep.
Awesome. All right, so that is fixed. We're going to descend via. Pull up my chart here. Bottom altitude is bricks at 1000. Why do you want me to decel? We're all right. What are you doing here, Toliss? Oh, you know what? We never reached our cruise altitude, I think. That's why. Let's go ahead and recruise. There we go. Outcruise. There we go. Just had to recruise it. Top of descent, 41 miles. We're going to start down at about 5 miles prior. And we'll report leaving. We'll make sure not to forget, because I feel like this guy would be very, very upset. As he should be. Connor Lou asked, anyone who wants to become an airline pilot, what would you say is the best way to get your hours? I know a lot of people that trained other people. Yeah, you know what? Flight instruction is probably one of the best ways to build time, because you're building time and you're getting paid for it. That's probably the most common way, at least in the United States. I know there's some other companies that will hire right seat, just time building pilots and things like that, which could be a good way to build time as well. But flight instructing, we're getting into an entry-level job, maybe flying skydivers or something like that in a simple aircraft. So I instructed for a while, and then I got into flying corporate by word of mouth, luckily, and I was sitting right seat. So I got a little bit of experience that way flying a jet. And then, of course, I went on to really build my flight time and get piloting command time flying cargo. I started flying cargo for quite a while. I built most of my hours flying cargo to be competitive for the airlines. Kind of do conversations in the cockpit ever get awkward? Sometimes, man. You know, politics, religion. Try to avoid topics like that because, hey, you never know. You may be flying 4 days with that guy, and if you don't get along, try to keep it, pretty cordial. Dougal says, sorry if I missed it already, but do you prefer the Toliss over the Flight Factor? You know what, Dougal? I like them both. Thanks for the subscribe. I like them both. You guys can tell probably, you know, since we've been flying this Toliss, though, there's been a couple bugs, mostly with ND symbology. Like this big dot here should be much smaller. There's a couple little things that bother me that aren't fixed yet with the Toliss. But the number one thing I would say is sound. So as they are right now, I might lean a little bit towards the Flight Factor. But if the BSS sound pack came out for the Toliss 319, it would be pretty much a tie. If the Toliss 319 could clean up some of the bugs that they have with the ND and the McDo, it would be a very hard airplane to beat. It would be very hard to beat, I'll tell you that. But they're both great aircraft. I get a lot of enjoyment out of both of them. Lots of fun to fly. That Toliss versus 319. Yeah, I mean, we talked about it in that last stream. I'm just going to keep this up here so I know when to start down. 16 miles or so. Sound, guys. The sound pack right now, when you look at both airplanes completely modded, the sounds for the Flight Factor are just better. They just are because it has the BSS sound pack. If you get that on the Toliss, you're going to have two very identical airplanes, I think. I do wish, this kind of bugs me, you know, I know that Toliss is working with Flight Factor now on a 350, and it just seems like in this modern day of flight simulation, we get aircraft that are not complete, and then developers tend to move on and work on something else, which I understand from a business standpoint. You know, you need to have more products out there to get more revenue streams, so I understand that. But I would be really disappointed if we have to keep flying two, 80% complete Airbuses around for the next couple of years. You know, I'd like to see at least one of them get really polished up. Here comes 5 miles prior. Let's go ahead and manage the descent. Mock descent. Here we go. We'll keep the signs on. It was a little bit bumpy. And center for Speedway 749. We're vacating 350, descending via the Bridge 3. Bodega 3.
True, 749, roger, thanks.
Blue Max says, I don't have the Toliss, but I think it's a good aircraft with some minor bugs. Same with Flight Factor. Yeah, they're both good aircraft, and they both have bugs. And it's funny because they both have bugs in different areas. Like, Toliss has bugs in the ND, whereas Flight Factor has no bugs in the ND. But the Flight Factor, you can't do holds and stuff, but you can do holds in the Toliss. And it's just like, you've got two airplanes that, man, I wish they would just come together and put it together and polish both of them up. They both have little bugs in different areas of their simulation. Dougal just says, I've only got one Airbus, and that's the Flight Factor. Well, you're going to be happy with it, man. Yep, I agree, Captain Kringles. That's good choice. Blue Max, so close to 2K subs. I know, guys, close to 2K. If you haven't subbed yet, let's hit that 2K mark, man. We'll have to do something special for the 2,000 sub celebration. I try not to be like every other single YouTuber and say, oh, make sure to smash that like button and press subscribe. I figure if you guys like the content, you're going to like it. If you want to follow it, you're going to subscribe. So I try not to ask for that or beg for that in YouTube videos because it really it can get annoying. Every single video you watch, it's like, oh, smash the like button, subscribe. Which I get. I mean, some people may not be familiar with that, but I figure us in this community, we're probably all very familiar with how YouTube works and if we want to be notified of the content. So, I appreciate all the support for everybody that has been a subscriber. Captain Kringles, are you using Navigraph for the charts? No, I'm actually using my my work iPad. So I have an electronic flight bag that I use for work, and I have all my charts published on it. So I'm using those real-world charts. And I've mentioned this briefly. I'm gonna try to get Avitab, so you guys can follow along with me, and we'll have the iPad here in the window, and I'll point out things on the charts, and that'll be really good content right there, as we can do some videos explaining stuff on the charts and things like that. So
just 209 kilo
that is
Jackson,
to be expected in
runway
future
19
videos, guys. Be looking forward to that. Eager EK, even the static stuff simulated, awesome. Yep. In time for the cruise, pilot boy. Well, if you're still here, buddy, we're just starting our descent down into San Francisco, and we've got a hangry controller. No fault to his own, it's mostly my doing, so we're going to try to do everything right and to the T on the way into San Francisco. If you guys are thinking about Pilot Edge, let me tell you, you need to get it, because as a real-world pilot, been flying for over a decade, I'm flying Xplane right now, and I'm actually nervous for this approach into San Francisco, because I don't want to screw it up, because I feel like I've already screwed up, and I just have that feeling. It's so immersive, guys. It is a great product. Highly recommend you try it out. They do have a free trial as well. So, yeah, I'm actually a little bit nervous. I'm triple checking things here because I don't want to screw this up. Dougal says, just had my PPL suspended for medical. Oh, man, I'm really sorry to hear that, Dougal. Hopefully you'll be able to get it back. Really sorry about that.
Contact Oakland Center 132.2.
132.2, Spearwing 749, we'll see you. Alright, I have a Mr. X library missing for an airport. That's what that pop-up was. Oakland Center, Spearwing 749, descending 25-4 or descending via the Bodega 3.
Spearwing 749, Oakland Center, Roger, San Francisco, altimeter 3001.
3001, 749. Alright guys, talk about flight factor, Toliss. Look, we've got failures modeled. I now have a ND failure on the FO side. Great. So we're going to go ahead and do a switching panel here. This happens before. We need attitude and heading to Captain 3. Oh, I'm sorry. ND transfer. Oh. Should be able to pull up the ND over here. I'll have to look that up. We have an ND failure on the FO side. I have a procedure in my book. I gotta look it up. But we're coming into the arrival right now. Let's go ahead and fly the arrival. Make sure we do everything right here. 280 knots at Joni. So you can see now, look, the aircraft is already wanting to slow to, what does it want to slow to now? 250? But we have to reach Bigelow at 280. So this is where we need to take control of the speed. It's at 280 knots. Alright, we have an ND. I should be able to go switching. Should be able to re-switch this panel to mimic the captain's source. Alright, well, I've got a procedure. We would take care of it in real life. Let me look it up here real quick. Make sure we're flying 22.5. We're on the descent. Things are looking good. Pull up my emergency procedures. We need to look for abnormal emergencies. Under, what would that be under? I'm looking. Under supplementary. I'm looking. What are we at? 20.5, 280 at Bigelow, below 230. That looks good.
Delta 2429, Seattle clearance, loud and clear. How do you hear me?
So this is where you really need two pilots so you could work through this problem here. We'll have one guy looking at the ND, and we'd actually report that we have a failure of one of our information systems.
Well, according to our system, you're on 128.0. You can test that by turning off your COM2 and try and calling me back if you like.
And I'm having a hard time locating this one. What we should get with this fail, you would get an ECAM memo saying that one of your NDs has failed, and it would give you an ECAM procedure. So I'm trying to find it without the actual failure code, which can be a little difficult here. Here we go, 280 knots, 190 at Bigelow, below 23.19, that looks good. Alright, things are looking good. We're making sure we're coming down. No problems there.
Set the 209er Kilo Jackson tower, make left down departure, only 19er cleared for takeoff.
Auto flight, RMP, FMGS reset. This might be a latch failure. Alright, we're going to have to just stand by on that ECAM right now and make sure the airplane is doing what we're doing. Here comes our transition altitude, 3001. We're going to set that. We've got gusting winds up to 20 knots, so we're going to use low brakes so we get even wear on the brakes, on the deceleration.
Delta 2429, I hear you now on 128.0.
17.1 descending, got to cross, lows it 280 below 16,000 feet.
Retard.
Thanks for the subscribe.
Spearwing 749, contact NorCal approach 135.1.
35.1, Spearwing 749.
Spearwing 749, contact NorCal approach 135.1.
Contact approach 35.1, Spearwing 749.
Delta 2429 heavy on request inlay.
Get it there. Approach Spearwing 749 is 16.1 descending via Bodega 3 with Lima.
Spearwing 749 NorCal approach. Good morning, thanks for Lima. Expect the ILS runway 28 left approach.
Expect ILS 28 left, Spearwing 749. Any chance we can do 28 right this morning?
Are you parking on the north side?
Yes, sir.
Spearwing 749, roger. Expect the ILS runway 28 right approach.
Expect ILS 28 right, Spearwing 749. Alright, we're not parking north
And just
side.
confirm you're going to cargo?
That's affirmative. We've got some tires on board. We're taking over to company hangar. I just made that
2298 contact.
I just made it up so we don't have to
134.32.
land on 28 left. Alright, lows it, 280, 16,000. I figured I'd throw him a curveball. Because we're already on the arrival, and I think if I change now, we may have issues. And we already have an ND failure, so I don't want to be changing anything with him right now.
Delta 2429 heavy is cleared to the San Francisco Airport Hera.
Daniel Carly says, what do you think of the flight factor failures? Are they bringing out restart? Yeah, it's going to be interesting, man. If it's anything like the Toliss, it's definitely going to keep you on your toes.
Frequency
so,
120.4.
It's going to keep you on your toes. I like having failures. Lets you use procedures. I think it's going to be cool. I hope it'll be really good. I don't know. I haven't seen many or anything else other than that article that, of course, is out right now. Does the EJIPWiz terrain button override the warning or the warning completely? Pilot Boy, does the EJIPWiz terrain button? So on your EJIPWiz panel up here, terrain
reback is correct.
Will eliminate the proximity, or I'm sorry, the geographic position terrain system. So we have enhanced GPWiz on the GPWS. The E part of GPWiz is the terrain, and what the terrain function does is it's a 3D database of the world, and it knows your position and where you are. So if you turn off terrain mode, it'll turn off that part of the GPWiz, but you'll still get, you know, too low gear or too low flaps with your regular GPWiz. The enhanced part allows you to get more information all over the world, but it is GPS predicated. So if you're not aligned on the ground, you'll notice there's a fault up here in the terrain push button. Peanut jelly and butter. I barely joined the stream, but it's awesome. Great, man. Glad to have you here. Blue Mac A350 really needs a lot of texture and sound updates for sure. Yeah, I haven't even touched the 350 yet. I'm going to stay away from it for now. What I really want is a 777 update. Yep, that would be nice. Just to do 0815, that is the troubling thing with Xplane airliners. More and more released in beta and alpha states. That is so true. All right, we got to slow to 250 knots here for Cork.
Spearwing 749 contact, NorCal approach 135.65.
3565, Spearwing 749, was it? NorCal approach, good morning, Spearwing 749. We're leveling 1000 with information Lima.
Spearwing 749, NorCal approach, roger, I'll have low for you in just a minute.
Roger. Yeah, just to do 0815. It, unfortunately, man, it's just, you know, alpha after alpha after beta, and we really aren't getting completed products. You know, but you buy into that, right? Because they say, oh, it's a beta, but I mean, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? How does one go sending you How does one go about sending you a bag go goodies to help you with your Xplane setup? Oh, a bag of goodies to help you with your Xplane setup. Man, the best way to help with the Xplane setup is, you know, support the channel. I do graciously accept donations. I mean, PM me if you have something else in mind. You know, send me a message on Discord. Join the Discord. Like I said, everything that comes from you guys, I reinvest into this to give you guys the best experience possible. Dougal says it's always worth...
749, fly heading 130 vectors ILS, runway 28 right approach, descend to maintain 7,000.
Heading 130, descend to maintain 7,000, Spirit Wind 749. Alright, heading, thrust tidal, open descent, heading, flight attendants prepare for landing, we're out of 11, going down to 7, oops, 1,000, let's go ahead and turn that off, turn that on, and everything else is good. We are below 250, perfect. Dougal says it's always worth reminding us to hit like, as it's easy to forget. All right, man. Well, if you guys want to hear it, then let's hit that like button. I appreciate it. Albert Christian, do pilots have a choice in which airplane they are and will fly? To an extent, Albert, it depends on, you know, if you're working for the airlines, you can only be current in type for one airplane at a time. As a regulation, a federal regulation, you can only be current for one type at a time. But you can switch if your seniority allows you to switch airframes. You sure can. You can switch airframes, and then you'd be trained on that new airplane, and you would be current in that type. Now, if you're working for, you know, a 135 company or Part 91, which is not airline regulation, you can be current in several different aircraft as long as you comply with the federal regulations to remaining current.
Double 145, clear to the Denver International Airport, Noxie 1 departure.
Crafting Kringles are real charts open for the
transition.
public. No, they are not.
And then it's filed.
You know what? I think they are actually, as long as you pay for them.
Flight level 330 within 1
so, like,
departure.
if you go to Jeppesen and, you know,
Denver departure frequency 119.7.
I know probably the best way to do it is
3370.
Flight Aware. No, not Flight Aware. What I'm trying to think of. There's a program out there called 4Flight. That's what most civilian pilots will use, is for flight, and you can get charts and everything like that. Do you ever get worried of bad weather ahead? Stochastic DOS. Yeah, man, in the summertime especially, we get a lot of big thunderstorms. I'm going to go ahead and put some speed brakes out, increase our rate of descent here. A lot of times you get thunderstorms in the summertime, and as long as you can deviate, it's okay. If you can't deviate, it can be a little hairy. Typically, we don't get worried though, as you know, we're in control. We can tell, you know, we're not gonna fly through something. We're going to deviate as necessary. Thankfully, it wasn't on the captain's side. Yeah, I'm glad the ND failure is out of the captain's side. All right, here comes the Fork Boy Ortho Scenery, Mr. X San Francisco.
Delta 2429.
Yeah, Andre, I did try to source over.
Yeah, we did. Delta 2429 is climb and maintain 9,000. Expect by level 37010 minutes after departure.
ND transfer, Captain 3. Oh, that's ECAM ND. We don't want that. So, can't switch it over to that ND. So this screen, it's actually, the screen is failed. So,
Spearwing 749, turn left heading 100, descend and maintain 6,000.
Left turn heading 100, descend and maintain 6,000, Spearwing 749. 100 on the heading, and 6,000 feet, open descent, 7 for 6. So it's not just the data that's out, guys. That's why the switching knob's not working. It's this entire box has been, maybe it just shorted out or something. So I've got my failures turned on, and that's why I do love this Toliss, because, you know, you run into things like this all the time, and it seems like every time I'm flying this Toliss, something happens. But I like that. It adds a little extra immersion, you know, it makes it a little bit more on your toes. So like, the switching panel is not working because it's not a data problem, it's the actual monitor, the screen itself is out. Alright, I'm going to clean up the box here. What are we doing? We are leveling 6,000 feet. Let's go ahead and reduce speed to 210. Don't you speed up on me. What do we have on the approach? Is it C-pin? 284. We're going to go C-pin. And we're going to draw a line. The radial outbound is going to be 064. That doesn't look right.
Spearwing 749, turn left heading 350.
Well, left turn 350, Spearwing 749. Left turn 350, look at that. Final approach course, oh no, our final approach course is 284. So we're going to flip that around, it's going to be 104 outbound. There we go. Insert that, make sure you pull heading so you don't intercept. But now we have an extended center line off of runway 28 right. Let's go ahead, VFE next minus 10, flaps 1. We're on base, let's go ahead and come straight back to 180.
Spearwing 749 is 14 miles from Axmal. Turn left heading 310 and descend and maintain 5,000 until established on the localizer. Clear the ILS runway 28 right approach.
Left turn 3105 to establish cleared ILS 28 right approach. Spearwing 749. VFE next minus 10, flaps 2. Here we come. 6 for 5. We are cleared approach, so approach push button will come on here. We got to do something, guys. We talked about it. I never ended up doing it. Oh no, we are activated and confirmed. There we go. We are activated, confirmed, leveling 5,000, glide slope blue, a loc blue. This is going to be an interesting intercept heading. I don't know if we're actually going to get down in time. Let's see. He gave us 5 till established. Alt star. We're clear to approach. Move that taxi light to taxi position. Alright, so if this glide slope doesn't come down, or if we're not on the localizer before the glide slope comes down, we're gonna have to intercept the glide slope from above, which can be a little bit tricky. I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna turn right heading 315. Just give myself a few degrees to intercept. There we go. Glide slope star, Loke star. We've captured both. ILS 28 right. Missed approach altitude is going to be 3,000 feet. Let's go ahead and set that in the window there. Glide slope capture. How's our temp outside? We're plenty warm. Don't have to worry about the ice. Alright guys, here we go. Loke captured actually. So now we're just waiting on our 2,000 feet. Things are looking up.
Toliss 2298, contact Los Angeles Center 124.62. We'll see ya.
So when we land, what we're going to do is I'll end up getting just a taxi clearance for the ramp, and then I'll disconnect from Pilot Edge, and I'll show you what we'll back taxi, not back taxi, but we're going to double back on Charlie and then cross over to the terminal area. I'll make sure to disconnect from Pilot Edge so we don't irritate him with replays. Alright, we are at IMC plus 13C, nothing to worry about outside. He's going to give us a tower frequency here, I hope, which is going to be 120.5. We've got that in the secondary, on the standby. The ILS diamonds don't go solid. Nope, not in the Airbus. They stay just like they are. This is a proper indication here.
Citation 0 Delta Whiskey, contact Salt Lake City Center 135.77.
Alright, we're approaching our final approach fix, Axmal. Axmal's at 1800. We're going to cross-reference that. Touchdown zone is 13 feet.
2,500.
So, at about 2,000 feet, we're going to go ahead and manage the speed.
Spearing 749, contact San Francisco Tower 120.5.
120.5, Spearing 749. Tower Spearing 749, just outside Axmal, ILS 28 right, going to the general aviation ramp on the right side there.
Spearing 749, San Francisco Tower, runway 28 right, cleared to land, wind at 230 at 16.
28 right, clear to land, Spearwing 749.
2,000.
Alright, here we go, manage the speed, gear down, arm the speed brakes.
Rate 00 Delta Whiskey, Salt Lake City Center.
Flight attendants, prepare for landing. VFE next, minus 10, flaps 3. We might have to keep this autopilot on here. VFE next, minus 10, flaps full, landing checklist. Cabin crew advised, auto thrust is in speed mode. ECAM memo, landing all green, landing checklist complete. Alright, you guys wanted to see it manual landing, completely manual. So I'm going to go ahead and disconnect this. We'll go ahead and disconnect the auto thrust. So we are flying now. And I proceed to go below the glide slope.
Number 0 Delta Whiskey. Number 0 Delta Whiskey, standby.
All right, hand fly, no auto thrust, and no autopilot. 1,000 stable.
Number 0 Delta Whiskey is cleared to Flagstaff Airport via direct.
There it is. Clear to land. Stable. A little bit of a crosswind from the left.
400. 300.
Here comes our minimums. We are visual with the runway. We're going to follow the Pappies in.
200. 100. 50. 40. 30. Retard. 10. 5.
There we go. Let's get the reversers out. Gotta get on center line here. $70 knots. Idle reverse. We'll stow them.
Spirit 749, our right turn into the ramp via Charlie, monitor ground, point 8. We'll see you next time.
Right turn, ramp via Charlie ground point 8. We'll see you next time, Spirit 749. Alright guys, welcome to San Francisco. Ground point 8, and we're just going to go ahead and disconnect from Pilot Edge.
Disconnected.
And then we're going to do our replays and park it at the gate. If you guys remember that Air Canada, let's do an after landing checklist here, that Air Canada situation at San Francisco, this is the taxiway that they were on. So there were several aircraft, including heavies, lined up on this taxiway, and the runway, the left runway was closed. The left runway was closed, and they were supposed to land on 2A right, and they actually lined up with this taxiway and almost landed on the taxiway. It came very close. It would have been a very horrible disaster. We'll get the APU fired up here. We can clear the hot brakes. Flap is open. Start the APU. Flight directors and LS push buttons come off post landing. Alright, if you guys are going to cross a runway, obviously you would get clearance, and we would go ahead and get our lights back on. So I've actually done this taxi route a couple times. They've had some construction on the taxiways in San Francisco. So I didn't want to bother with him asking to take me to the left side. He seemed like he didn't really want to, so we're going to do it ourselves. We're cleared to cross. And we're going to cross the left side, 28 left. We've had, let's see, 3 minutes on the shutdown. So let's go ahead and secure engine number 2. Yellow electric hydraulic pump is on. And engine 2 secure. And we're clear of all active runways. We'll go ahead and resecure our lights. As we approach the ramp here, we're going to go ahead and turn that taxi light off so we don't blame the marshalers. Make sure we don't get hit by a fuel truck or a cargo cart. We're going to put it into the end here. We cheated a little bit left of the line there. I don't want to hit that 7.5. Alright, so here comes spot 60 into the gate. This is a tricky one, especially without marshalers. I'm going to stay inside. There we go. We'll set the brakes. Passenger signs. And engine 1. APU bleed comes on. Waiting for 10% N1. There it is. Beacon light can come off. Pumps are coming off. No electric hydraulic pump, that can come off. Transponder standby 2000. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to San Francisco. Let's go ahead and throw in that replay. Let's see if we can do it without crashing. I'm going to catch up with your comments, and we will be signing off here. Whoops, where are we going to go? Replay mode, here we go. $2,000 foot, we'll stay here for now. Let me scroll back.
$2,500.
All right, let's see. Blue Max said, thankfully that failure wasn't on the captain's side. Absolutely. Thankfully it was not. Would have been tragic. Dougal says, is the bus easier to decelerate in descent than the 737? You know what? I can't speak from experience. I have not flown a 737 in real life, but I will say that the Airbus is particularly slippery when you are trying to slow down. Oh my gosh. To slow down and descend. No! What happened here? I'm going to pause it. Oh boy. That doesn't look good, folks. Oh no. We got a nice landing, we're not going to be able to watch it. Man, I hate this Xplane replay system. There it is. Man, we seem to end every stream this way. Well, unfortunately, no replays. That is really a shame. I'm going to have to work on that. I wonder if you guys are experiencing any replay issues. I don't know why it's happening so consistent, but man, that's a shame. All right, let me finish up with the comments here and we'll sign off. Thanks for the stream from New Zealand. Awesome, John Smith. Have a good one. Pan from Pilot Boy. Nope, it's just a screen failure. We're totally okay. There's an add-on in the forum to fix the 777 cockpit textures. That's good to know. They are pretty terrible. All right. Connor Lou asked, could you do a tutorial on the exterior lights work and when pilots use them? I could talk about them. I'm pretty sure I talked about it in the professional series on that pre-flight the takeoff video. I think right before taking the runway, I might have talked about it. If not, we can cover it in another stream so we can clear that up. But it also varies depending on where you are, what part of the world you're flying on. ILS diamonds don't go solid. No, we already mentioned that they do not. Anyone know what stick I'm using? I am using the Thrustmaster Warthog. Yes, that is correct. Thank you, NASA. Rest in pepperonis. Yep. Happens to the best of us. Try Shift 4, W on the keyboard, and Xplane is known for it. Yep. Alright guys, I am very sorry that we didn't get a replay there, but I appreciate everybody tuning in. It was a lengthy stream, a little bit longer. I'm off to work this week for a couple days, so I won't be streaming for the next few days, and then maybe this weekend we'll be back at it. But I appreciate the support. You guys are the best, and I will catch you all on the next one. I hope you all have a blessed day wherever you may be.